ABC Sports presents College Football Today. It's the annual confrontation between Army and Navy from Pasadena, California. This most storied of college football rivalries began 93 years ago, 1890 at West Point. Navy won that game by a score of 24-0. Army returned the favor in Annapolis the next season. The game had been played in the East up until 1926. Then it moved to the Midwest. Chicago is the site. Soldier Field, that has been, until now, the westernmost venue for the Army-Navy game. It seemed to have found a permanent home in Philadelphia. That's JFK Stadium. Then they moved the game in recent times to Veterans Stadium. But now they've come all the way west, all the way out to Southern California. For today's battle, as you look at the Los Angeles Basin on a beautiful day, temperature in the mid-50s, clear skies after a rainy and stormy night, and the site is the Rose Bowl, the fabled Rose Bowl in Pasadena, as Army gets set to take on Navy. You can change the venues, but the spirit and the color and the pageantry and the excitement are still the same. It's Army against Navy today.
College Football Today. This ABC Sports exclusive is sponsored by Vicks Sinex with instantly penetrating vapors, complete relief for hours and hours. By Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store. By AC Delco, General Motors Corporation quality replacement parts for just about anything that moves. AC Delco, the smart parts. And by Sony, the one and only.
This is a somewhat improbable sight, inasmuch as this game seemed forever destined to be played in the East or the Midwest. Some of the locations, Philadelphia, of course, seemed to be the permanent home. The game early on was played in New York at two different sites, the Polo Grounds and Yankee Stadium. It was played at Annapolis, home of the Naval Academy, and West Point on 3 occasions, even in Baltimore twice, and in Chicago that one time, Princeton, New Jersey, and today they move it all the way west to Pasadena. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Al Michaels. A beautiful day at the Rose Bowl. A crowd of about 80,000 is expected. A local group got together a little more than a year ago, convinced Army and Navy to play their game out here, but there were a lot of problems. In effect, how do you move each student body out here? Jack Whitaker details the story.
With 3 exceptions, the Army-Navy football game has been played in Philadelphia since 1932, the year Franklin Roosevelt was elected. And since World War II, mostly in this vast arena at the south end of Broad Street, now known as John F. Kennedy Stadium. The reason is very simple. Philadelphia is very accessible to both academies, and that's important when considering the cost of transporting the Corps of Cadets and the Brigade of Midshipmen. So when it was decided for the first time to play the game in California, the question arose, how do we get the cadets and midshipmen there? Well, they are in Pasadena today because of great planning and ingenuity. To move over 9,500 people almost 3,000 miles takes a lot of planning and a staggering amount of money. Who paid for this airlift to Pasadena?
No taxpayers' money at all. We have formed a nonprofit foundation. It is being paid totally for from within the private sector, and when we're all finished, we hope to break even. If there's any excess money, it goes to West Point, Annapolis, and to nonprofit organizations, and we'll collapse the whole organization.
30 California host towns provided thousands of beds and meals in 4,800 private homes for the cadets and midshipmen. Included was Thanksgiving Day dinner. Both academies were serious in their approach.
You're on display this weekend, representing not only yourself, but the United States Naval Academy. And that's very important to me, and it should be very important to you. And it's very important about the impression that we give, because the people of Southern California, many of them are going to have their impression of the Naval Academy on how you relate to them and your individual interaction.
The entire operation makes one think of troop movements during wartime and of the Berlin airlift. And some of the lessons learned in this peacetime operation may be applicable in harsher times. 500 buses were needed for this giant movement, which has gone as smoothly as anyone could have wished. Buses from West Point to Stewart Air Base, where 11 jet 15 minutes. Buses from Annapolis to Baltimore Washington International Airport, the point of embarkation for the midshipmen. There would be more buses waiting in California. The cost for buses and jetliners was a mere $3.6 million. One of the most remarkable aspects of the entire undertaking was the acquisition of 35 jetliners to implement the airlift. Now, to find 35 jetliners on Thanksgiving Day weekend, perhaps the most heavily traveled weekend of the year, is about as difficult a task as finding a Japanese tourist without a camera. But the job was done, and it is comforting to note that whoever accomplished this feat is on our side. The deplaning of these cadets at Ontario Airport, east of Los Angeles, marks the end of the airborne portion of Operation Cheering Section. It has been a daring plan, majestically orchestrated, and financed entirely by private money, something we all can be very proud of. And these cadets, with their counterparts, the midshipmen, are taking part in an historic occasion. When they march into the Rose Bowl with their voices ringing up the canyon walls, they will be enriching one of our great football traditions by making the Army-Navy game a movable feast.
And live again, you're looking at the cadets, the Corps of Cadets, having traveled from West Point, New York, arriving here a couple of days ago, seated in the West Stands at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and their opposite numbers in the East Stands, the Brigade of Midshipmen from Annapolis, Maryland. They did everything but walk into the Rose Bowl because of the weather. Ann Simon will cover the sidelines for us today, and Ann has that story.
Thank you, Al. I'm with Carl Ulrich. He's the Director of Athletics at Army. He was one of the men responsible for making the decision not to have the march on. Carl, why is that?
About 6:30 this morning, the two commandants and the two directors of athletics came out here to the field, and it had rained almost all night. As the rain lay in the tarpaulin and the tarpaulins were stripped, the water simply fell onto the field. The field was just too muddy.
All right, thank you very much. Al, take it away.
All right, Ann, and right now the weather is just perfect, though. The LA Basin is clear, and Army is getting set to take on Navy in Pasadena. About ready now for the singing of our national anthem, and the mayor of Pasadena, Loretta Thompson Glickman, is at the microphone at the 30-yard line, ready to sing our national anthem at the Rose Bowl. Pre-game pageantry concluding at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Upcoming, just a couple of minutes away, the kickoff, the annual Army-Navy game. ABC Sports presents NCAA college football. From Pasadena, California, the cadets of Army against the midshipmen of Navy in the annual Classic. The midshipmen are led by that man, number 30, Napoleon McCallum, who is number 1 in all-purpose yardage, averaging better than 217 yards per game. He's number 3 in rushing. He has had 7 100-yard games this season on the ground. He also returns kicks, averaging 18 yards per punt return. Number 30, Napoleon McCallum, a junior from just outside Cincinnati. The man Army will have to stop today. And the Cadets counter with their own very fine running back. Number 23, Elton Akins, averaging 4 yards per carry. Just a junior out of DeLand, Florida. He'll be the key man in the Army attack this afternoon. It's Army against Navy from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The great rivalries in college football. Michigan, Ohio State, SC UCLA, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and today, the Army-Navy game as we come to you live from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The first time this game has ever been played west of Chicago. I'm Al Michaels, along with Lee Groscup. Lee, this is the 5th time you have covered this game. What makes it so special?
Al, I think this is probably the consummate football rivalry. Now, it's been said of the Army-Navy game that it actually transcends football. It's more than a game. It's actually an American celebration, and I think it's probably the embodiment of that coach's cliche that this is indeed a one-game season. With Army-Navy football, that really is true.
And right now, both teams come in with records that are identical, only 2 wins and 8 losses, but each has a pretty good running back.
Well, I think in terms of their all-purpose numbers, these are 2 of the finest running backs to play in this game in recent years. Napoleon McCallum, of course, the more celebrated of the 2, and rightly so. His athletic ability, I think, makes him a certified Heisman candidate next year. Elton Akins, however, is a resourceful runner, good receiver, very intense competitor, and because of that, the running back position will be the key today.
Navy's favored by about a touchdown, and they'll tee it up right after this.
NCAA college football. This ABC Sports exclusive is sponsored by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. By Xerox, managing information around the office and around the world. By Sentry, for all your home, auto, life, and business insurance needs. Count on your local Sentry agent, where all's well, even when all isn't. And by Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves.
Navy will receive, and there is Napoleon McCallum. We detailed him a moment ago. He's back deep to receive, along with Eric Wallace, as Navy will receive, and they will work into a pretty stiff wind here in the first quarter. Kicking off with the wind at his back will be Craig Stopa from the far hash mark. And here we go. The Army-Navy game out west is underway with McCallum from the 5-yard line out to the 10, and he is buried. But the ball comes loose, and coming back the other way is Eric Wallace to the 30, to the 40. He has 2 blockers out in front. He cuts back to the middle of the field, and Wallace inside the 20, the 10, is in for the touchdown. Well, the series is 93 years old, and a spectacular beginning here.
What a way to start off this ball game. Napoleon McCallum has the ball right there, but as he's going down, he slips it to number 86, defensive back Eric Wallace, considered the best athlete on the team. And right there, you see the acceleration, the 4.5 speed that he has in the 40-yard dash as he moves on in for an amazing touchdown on the first play of the game.
And Steve Young is in to attempt the extra point. It looked like they had McCallum buried. Young's kick is good. So already the cannon, the Navy cannon, has been set off twice, and what a wild beginning. They moved the game to Pasadena. Navy loves it. In Southern California, they lead 7-0. Okay. So a spectacular beginning, a 95-yard touchdown return. McCallum started it, handed the ball to Eric Wallace. He ran 89 of the 95. It's 7-0 in favor. To kick off to Army. And fielding the ball is Travis Jackson at the 9-yard line. And he takes it out to the 20 where he is gang tackled. Led by Jim Foster. Must be the Army skill people.
Rob Healy, quarterback, Arcadia, California. Elton Akins, tailback, DeLand, Florida.
Art Jerome, fullback, Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Billy Noble, flanker, from Albany, Georgia. Scott's Bowman, split end, Bloomingdale, New Jersey.
And Army with the ball at its own 20-yard line. They work with the wind at their back. 1st and 10. Navy on top by a score of 7-0. Healy, the quarterback, you heard him say Arcadia, California. That's nearby, and he fumbles the snap, but he falls on it himself. It's 2nd and 12. Let's meet the line now for Army.
Dave Wolfolk, offensive tackle, Ken Jamal.
Hi, I'm Ron Roosh, offensive guard from Owl Park, Texas.
Ron Rice, center, Louisville, Ohio.
Don Smith, offensive guard, Fredericktown, Ohio. Jeff Kusamich, offensive tackle, Farmington, Connecticut.
Mark Triplett, tight end, Loomis, California.
Army with the ball, 2nd down and 12. Zerone and Akins are the running backs, and that's Akins going nowhere. Elton Akins is stopped by Rick Pagel for a loss of a yard, maybe 2. And back at the 16-yard line, call it the 17 now. It'll be 3rd down and 13. Pagel, Rutherford, Herlong, Peters, and Fudge. Eric Fudge, the line. You saw the 2 backers, and then Wallace, Macbeth, Papetti, and Brady form the secondary. The 2 linebackers are very good. In particular, Andy Ponciego, number 65 from Littleton, Colorado. We'll get some mention on some All-America teams. Army, as they're prone to do in passing situations, a good part of the time works out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 13, and it's dropped and then handed off to Akins, and he loses the ball, and will Navy recover before it goes out of bounds? They think they do, and they do, according to the officials, as Andy Ponciego, the man to whom we just referred, number 65, comes up with the ball. So it's been the most inauspicious of beginnings for Army as they give up the touchdown and then get nothing going on this series and fumble the ball away.
From the shotgun, underneath handoff to the tailback, number 23, Elton Akins. The hit right there. And there, the All-American linebacker, number 65, who is closing in on 500 career tackles, Andy Ponciego, the fumble recovery.
And it's Rick Williamson who starts at quarterback for Navy. There had been some speculation it might not be him. Napoleon McCallum counting for 1. Here's Navy's backfield and receivers.
Rick Williamson, quarterback, Jacksonville, Florida.
Napoleon McCallum, tailback, Milford, Ohio.
Brian Carvell, fullback, Atwater, California.
Bill Seaback, flanker, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Chris Wiley, split in from Annandale, Virginia.
Williamson was injured and underwent arthroscopic knee surgery 2 weeks ago. But he starts at quarterback and off the play fake, rolls right, throwing toward the end zone and in and out of the hands of Mark Stevens, who would have had a touchdown. Instead, it's 3rd down. Let's meet the Navy line now.
Rich Coombs, left tackle, Mammoth Lakes, Florida.
Dusty Rhodes, left guard, Duncansville, Pennsylvania.
Greg Sears, center, Jacksonville, Florida.
Robert Goodman, right guard.
Jeff Johnson, right tackle, Trotwood, Ohio.
Mark Stevens, tight end from Hialeah, Florida.
And Stevens came that close to making it 14-0 in favor of Navy as he dropped the pass in his hands. It's 3rd down and 9 from the 14-yard line. On a draw play, McCallum gets inside the 10, and just like that, it's Navy on top by 2 touchdowns. Napoleon McCallum scores. And before Army knows what has happened to them, 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, Navy is on top by a score of 13-0 going on 14.
Take a close look at the best all-purpose back in college football right now. Number 30, Napoleon McCallum in his tailback position. Draw play, makes a move inside, jukes to the outside, and glides into the end zone.
Here is Steve Young to attempt his 2nd extra point, and that is good. So the Cannon getting an early workout. 12:30 to go in the 1st quarter. It's been anchors away to this point. 14-0, Middies. $14-0, the Naval Academy on top. A sunny, bright, beautiful day in Pasadena. The field is a little muddy despite the fact it was covered by the tarp last night. It poured in Southern California from about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon till shortly after midnight. But the field, all things considered, in pretty decent shape. Travis Jackson and D. Bryant, Jackson number 40 and Bryant number 21, are back to receive for Army. Both teams coming in 2-8. As we mentioned, Navy about a touchdown favorite and on top by a score of 14-0. So Young will kick off again. Floating kick. into the wind, and out of bounds it goes, and that'll cost them 5 yards. And they'll kick it again. Now, if you tuned in late, here is the run back off the opening kickoff. Lee, do you think this was a planned play?
Napoleon McCallum gets the ball, and yes, indeed it was. We thought it might be an improvisation, and in a way it was an improvisation because the handoff was bumped momentarily, but then comes Eric Wallace, a defensive back, number 86, who is considered by Gary Tranquil to be the best athlete on the squad, and once he gets in the open field, you see some of that good speed that he has, and it's just a foot race to the end zone, which he wins. But it was, now that we see it again, a planned play.
Yep, conclusive right there, as McCallum was able to hand the ball off at just the right moment. Navy has subsequently scored again after the fumble. Army on its first offensive series, 2 fumbled snaps by the quarterback Healy, and then Akins lost the ball to Ponsiego. Young will kick off again from the 35-yard line. 12 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 14-0 Navy. Young's kick, again being held up by a brisk wind, and that goes out of bounds at the 27-yard line to cost him another 5. Let's get a report from the sidelines now. Check in with Ann Simon. Ann?
Behind me is a sea of over 4,000 cadets from West Point, and even though the odds makers have given Navy 8.5 points, you still seem optimistic?
Yeah, I know we're going to win this game. I don't think the odds makers really know about our team. We've lost 5 games by between 1 and 3 points, and we've got a really good team. I don't think they really know. Besides, have you seen anybody score half a point in football?
We're looking at 13 points already. Isn't that 2 touchdowns you're behind? That's tough.
We're the greatest fans in the world here. We're down 42-0 in Notre Dame, and we're still marching for a touchdown at the end of the game. We're still cheering as loud as we were at the beginning of the game. It doesn't matter to us.
All right, they're still optimistic, Al.
And they have 57 minutes and 30 seconds to catch up, but that man is pretty happy right now. Gary Tranquil in his second season as the head coach of Navy. This time, Young's kick does not go out of bounds, fielded by Travis Jackson from the 10-out pass to 20, and he's tackled at the 30-yard line. First down for the Cadets from the 30. Wouldn't it figure they finally take this game to Hollywood? So who do you think the referee is today? A man by the name of Vincent Price is the referee. He heads up the crew, and there he is as Army comes up to the 30.
And fittingly, both teams play the monster defense.
Right. The tailback through the middle, Elton Akins, who takes it out to the 34-yard line, a gain of 4. Stopped by Eric Fudge and Andy Ponsiego, and you'll be hearing Ponciego's name a lot today, number 65 on defense. Elton Akins, 673 yards in the first 10 games, so it's easy to figure out the average, 67.3. Second down and 6 from the 34. Off the play fake, it's Healy, complete to the 42 to Triplett, and he's out of bounds, and it's a first down for the Cadets. Watch it from the end zone.
Out of the power eye right there. Good play action fake. And number 90, Mark Triplett, the tight end, is running a sideline cut. And the ball was delivered with good timing by number 7, quarterback Rod Healy.
First down from the 42-yard line. And plowing straight ahead again is Elton Akins, number 23, for a gain of 3. What a thrill this has to be for somebody like the quarterback, Rob Healy, who goes to Army and then figures, well, he'll play Navy 4 times in his career, and there he is, but all the games will be in Philadelphia. Then all of a sudden he gets to West Point and finds out they're going to move the game to literally his backyard. He grew up and played at Arcadia High School nearby. Second down and 7. Healy off the fake, very good protection, and then throws it into the hands of a Navy defender at the 35-yard line. It's Steve Brady, and he is loose. He's inside the 30, the 20, the 10, and it's another Navy touchdown. A 65-yard return by Brady. His 5th interception of the season. It's 20-0.
Healy once again going with play action fake. sets up at 7 yards. He's looking for a man down the middle. And look, right there, as Brady comes into your picture, number 45, he was trying to throw to Scott Spellman, number 45, on a drag-in route. And once again, you see the speed of the Navy secondary. This time it's Brady, the safety man, number 45, in for the 3rd touchdown of the day for the midshipmen.
This game is not even 4 minutes old. It must seem like a month to Army. Extra point by Young is good. That's 6 cannon shots. A penalty flag is thrown on the play. Referee Vincent Price discussing the options with Navy, so obviously the penalty against Army.
Kickoff, 5 yards.
Penalty to be enforced on the kickoff. The extra point is good. 11:03 to go in the first quarter. Navy 21, Army nothing. Goodyear Blimp hovering above the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. What a spectacular sight. And of course, with the rain last night and the wind today, it's just beautiful. There's no smog in the Los Angeles basin. What a day. Goodyear Blimp, Columbia. White puffy clouds, temperature in the mid-50s. The penalty being assessed on the kickoff. So kicking from the 45-yard line, the penalty was for roughing the kicker. Young's boot comes floating down to Travis Jackson at the 5-yard line. He takes it out to the 18 and loses the ball, but it's recovered by Army. So it's just been a disastrous beginning so far for Army, but finally they get a bit of a break here as they keep possession at the 18. And one thing, Lee, Army is not the type of team that has an offense designed to come from 3 touchdowns behind. It's going to be very difficult for them.
It's not designed for catch-up football. Ideally, they would establish a running game, and most of their passes are built off of the run. They like the play-action passes best. So now they're in a catch-up posture, and the game is just barely underway.
From the 17-yard line, they'll show a lot of different sets. This time the wishbone as Zerone comes out to the 19-yard line, where he is stopped by number 19, Vince Macbeth, a freshman from Camden, Arkansas.
Zerone has been a good nuts and bolts fullback for Army. He's the type of guy that will get you the tough yards, good lead blocker for the tailback, Elton Akins.
Ball at the 18-yard line, and it is 2nd down and 10. Again, aligning in the bone and then breaking it with a man in motion and another fumble. And can you believe what's going on? Navy thinks they have it. We're waiting for the official to show signal. Elton Akins was the man who fumbled it. It looks like Steve Peters. No, he doesn't have it. It is Army maintaining possession. Another look now from behind the QB.
Here's what it looks like from a quarterback's vantage point right here as he hands the ball off on a sweep to Elton Akins, number 23. Closing in there is number 73, defensive lineman Steve Peters. And it appears momentarily that he has the ball. Eric Rutherford also in on the play for the midshipmen.
Loss of 5, 3rd down and 15 from the 13-yard line. And on a delay, it is Akins coming back the other way. Can't get loose. Buried at the line of scrimmage, and it's 4th down. He's stopped by Rick Pagel and Joe Papetti. 9 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter if you're just tuning in, and Navy already leads 21-0.
Pagel, who you just mentioned, of course, is a familiar name. The Pagels of Arizona. His brother Mike Pagel, of course, playing this season for Frank Cush and the Baltimore Colts.
Joe Sardiano's kick with the win is fair caught at the 47-yard line by Mark Brodowitz. So good field position for Navy as if they needed it. A reminder coming up tomorrow, NCAA college football. Now this will be Texas's final game in the regular season. They are 2nd ranked, of course, trailing only Nebraska in the polls, taking on Texas A&M. It's a great rivalry, 12 Eastern time. So the Longhorns trying to go through the regular year unbeaten. On a gadget play now, it is Blanchard, number 35, who turns it into a gain of about 7 as he gets to the 40-yard line on the end around. It'll be 2nd down and 3. The Navy goat. The Navy mascot. The goat has been the Navy mascot, well, just about since the start of the series. And
since 1890, when it was found in a sergeant's backyard, an Army sergeant's backyard.
So they make a good mascot, and that's Bill the 24th. Good thing the Super Bowls go to Roman numerals, otherwise I never would have known how to read that. Flag is thrown. Illegal procedure is the call against Army. And that should be enough to give Navy a first down at the 36-yard line. The referee's microphone is breaking up, but you get the idea. Penalty against Army, and that is a first down. First down for Navy at the Army 36-yard line. Williamson gives it to McCallum, and McCallum goes down at the 38-yard line. McCallum, a junior from Milford, Ohio. There's the Army defense. Allen, Jennings, Staver, Givens, Beaver. Linebackers are good. Gentili and Roney. And then Griffin, Bryant, Ayton, and Baston form the secondary. They stop McCallum on that play. It is second down, 12 from the 38-yard line. Williamson handing the ball off to Caraveo, and he takes it to the 26-yard line. He's a pretty decent back in his own right, and most teams, of course, key on McCallum, and when they give him a breather, it's Caraveo who does much of the ball carrying. He's averaging 4.2 yards per carry this season.
He's a fullback, but he's also the backup tailback, and were something to happen to Napoleon McCallum today, they would probably go with him as their tailback.
He gets close enough to a first down to call for the chains. And he just does have it. So the second first down on this drive, and Navy keeps moving. They're at the Army 26-yard line. Most of you, I'm sure, know it, but if you don't, as you look at Jim Young, the, at least at this moment, beleaguered head coach at Army in his first season at West Point. These fellas with a 5-year military commitment, so you're not talking about professional football, at least in the near future, for any of them. On first down, it is Williamson rolling to the right side and taking it all the way to the 17-yard line. They are just shredding the Army defense as D. Bryant makes the stop, and a slight limp right there. He had that arthroscopic knee surgery, and it's quite an evidence in that shot.
He's wearing the Lenox Hill Hospital knee brace, the one that Joe Namath made famous, of course. He has the size you like in a quarterback, 6'2", 2'5", good quick release, but his mobility's slowed today.
On second down and 2, it is McCallum who takes it inside the 15, and that is another first down as he moves to the 14-yard line halfway through the first quarter, and there it is. The brace on the knee of Williamson, who was a questionable starter. He was injured early in a freak play in that game against South Carolina 2 weeks ago.
He, of course, is the one who had to start this game last year when Marco Paganelli was injured, and he only got the news a few days before the game. He said he was a little nervous starting in a national game.
That was his first ever start, and this is Caraveo who gets buried. So that's the brightest moment of the game thus far for Army, number 77, Mike Staver, along with John Roney, 54, making the stop. Williamson was hurt in the South Carolina game on a play on which a delay of the game penalty was called, and yet the defense came charging through, and he got hit after the whistle. Went down. Sean Cannon took over and underwent the arthroscopic surgery. On second down, he gets protection, lofts it into the end zone, and on the back of the end zone, it is intercepted by Army, by Gary Baston, number 25, on the pass intended for Greg Blanchard. And if ever a team needed a break like that to try to start to get things turned around, it's Army at this point. It could be a big play. We'll see.
Absolutely. I have seen interceptions like that turn games around. Now you see Williamson aiming for Blanchard in the end zone, who has come from his wide receiver position, and Gary Bastion, the free safety man for Army, makes a leaping interception. There's a better look at it right there. You see the two of them fighting for the ball, and Bastion pulls it away.
But they have just fumbled and recovered by Dave Pratt, number 38. Again, another Army fumble on the first down play, but Pratt falls upon it himself, and an Army player is shaken up. down at the 21-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 10 when play resumes. 6 minutes and 28 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter. As they attend to, we believe it's the center, Ron Rice. It is, number 56. A reminder, coming up, the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Miami Dolphins. That'll be this Monday on Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern Time. Bengals have been hot, won 4 of their last 5. Top defense in the AFC. Dolphins, of course, lead the AFC East with a mark of 8-4, led by Danny Marino. The Bengals and the Dolphins, Monday night at 9 Eastern Time.
Dan Marino and Eric Dickerson leading candidates for Rookie of the Year. By a long shot, I would say.
Interesting. We talked about it earlier this season on a couple of telecasts, how Marino was not quite overlooked, but as they take Ron Rice off, it doesn't look particularly encouraging for Army. Clint Pollitt, number 52, will have to replace him, a freshman from Lake City, Florida. But Marino did not have a terrific season as a new quarterback. Also, Bill Turner is in for Army. And Miami was able to sneak Marino into the pick in the first round, and he's done the job for them. As Turner throws, complete out to the 33-yard line to Scott Spellman, number 4, who makes the catch, and a first down. So Jim Young trying to get something started, trying to do something a little differently with his team down by 3 touchdowns, goes to the new QB.
Jim Turner has the size you like. He's 6'5", 200 pounds, play action pass. And he's throwing the ball to his wide receiver there, Scott Spellman, by far the leading receiver for the Cadets with 33 receptions, 488 yards starting today's game. 13 yards on the completion.
That's Mark Triplett, who goes in motion on first down from the 33-yard line. And the ball carrier is Art Zerone to the 37-yard line, where he is tackled by number 65, Andy Ponciego.
Andy Ponciego is one of the best linebackers in the country, and were it not for his military commitment, he would get a lot of attention from the pro scouts. Closing in on 500 career tackles. He had 486 coming into today's game, 169 for a season record last year in 1982.
Travis Jackson and Dave Pratt are the running backs. On 2nd down and 5, Turner turning and giving it to Jackson, who takes it out to the 40-yard line. When they unpile, it will be 3rd down and a short 3. As Rick Pagel, number 60, makes the stop. Under 5 minutes to go, still in the first quarter. Navy exploding early, on top by a score of 21-0.
Interesting piece of strategy by Coach Jim Young to replace Rob Healy with Bill Turner this early in the game.
But down 21-0, he had to do something to shake him up. And on 3rd and short, Turner's going to go to the air again. He's going to drop it over the middle. And is it caught? It is at the 43-yard line by Travis Jackson. And that might be enough for a first down. It is. So a first down for Army. Let's check in with Ann Simon.
Army may have possession of the ball, but I'm with some very happy midshipmen. Does Army have a chance at all?
Army doesn't have a chance at all. When we brought this Navy football team out here, Brigade of Midshipmen and this football team came for one reason only, and that was to crush Army. Army doesn't have a chance. We've got a more determined football team out there, and they're going to prove it today that Navy is the best team.
All right, thank you, Al.
All right, Ann, they're proving it to this point, but Army is trying to get something started as Travis Jackson carries for a yard, a minimal gain. He is stopped by Rick Pagel, who's been in on quite a few tackles here in the first quarter. And it'll be 2nd down and 9 from the 46-yard line. Zerone and Kevin McKelvey are now the running backs. Wholesale changes for Jim Young offensively. McKelvey is number 45 as they work from the shotgun on 2nd down and 9. And the inside give goes to McKelvey. He's got some room. He gets into Navy territory and is bumped out at the 46-yard line by Joe Papetti. So Army has crossed the 50-yard line for the first time in the game.
Kevin McKelvey on the underneath ball handling that failed for Army earlier out of the shotgun. It turns into a sweep. Right there you see a possible face mask as McKelvey is pulled down by Joe Papetti, number 47, along the sideline.
But he got away with it. No flag. 3rd down and 1.5 yards from the 46-yard line. Bill Turner, the sophomore from Virginia, leading this drive. And he is dropped back at the 48-yard line by Papetti. Number 47 is all over the place now. So Army's drive is stymied. Ball at the 48-yard line, 4th down and 3. And Jim Young is offered to send in the punting unit with his team down by a score of 21-0.
Papetti, he literally is all over the place. That's why they call him the rover back.
Kicking with the wind at his back is Joe Sardiano, one of the best in the country, averaging 43 yards a kick. And a good kick here. He tried to angle it, but it bounces into the end zone before it crosses the boundary, and it comes out to the 20-yard line. So with 2:42 to go in the quarter, Navy leads 21-0, and they'll have the ball when we come back.
Tomorrow on NCAA football, undefeated number 2 ranked Texas, who are Cotton Bowl bound, trying to extend their winning streak, tackling interstate arch rival Texas A&M. Texas A&M tomorrow.
We're at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Al Michaels, Lee Grosscup, and Ann Simon with you. Hope it's been a great Thanksgiving holiday for you. It's been a great holiday for those folks. The men from Army and Navy. Both student bodies are out here as Navy takes it out to the 28-yard line. Brian Caraveo taking it out, and he is stopped by John Rowley. In case you missed our pregame feature, Jack Whitaker did a fine piece on how the entire Corps of Cadets and Brigade of Midshipmen made their way from West Point and Annapolis all the way to Pasadena for Thanksgiving.
Major airlift.
Probably the biggest in peacetime history. 2nd down from the 28-yard line. And stopped just shy of the 1st down is Caraveo again. Looks like they'll spot it just shy of the chalk. If the nose of that ball is up against the chalk, it's a 1st down, but it will be 3rd down and just a couple of inches to go. A minute and 45 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter. Navy taking the opening kickoff in for a touchdown and then striking quickly twice more, leading 21-0. And straight ahead goes Williamson, the quarterback, on the sneak for the 1st down as he gets it out to the 31-yard line. By the way, if you're wondering about this series and will they move it around, both academies say they will not make this a traveling circus. In fact, they've already signed a contract to play the game in Philadelphia for the next 5 years, but if they feel that this has been a successful venture, and it certainly appears to have been to this point, occasionally you will see the Army-Navy game moved around the country. Give people a chance in other environs to see it as McCallum moves through the middle out to the 43-yard line, and a 1st down. I think it's a great idea. It's something that the people in Southern California have responded to, and a chance I'm sure a lot of folks are sitting here today simply because they have a chance for the first time in their lives to see the Army-Navy game.
Absolutely. It's been a great event for Southern Californians. Growing up here in Southern California myself, I'm proud to have the game here in Pasadena.
And a good crowd. I'd say in excess of 80,000 looking on as McCallum takes it out to the 48-yard line. Baston and Gentili make the tackle with 45 seconds now remaining in the quarter.
Jim Gentili, the leading tackler for Army. You see him at his linebacker position right there. He gets rid of a blocker and goes right for the ball carrier. And you see the fine instincts that he has and the ability to judge where the ball is going and utilize his quickness and strength.
2nd and 5 from the 48-yard line. And again, it's McCallum for a 1st down. And he takes it inside the 40 to the 37-yard line, stopped by Dee Bryant and Gary Baston. So Napoleon McCallum. His parents both teach at Princeton High School in Cincinnati. He's 6'2", 206, a junior. And if you think that Navy plays a basically soft schedule and that McCallum's stats are inflated, you're wrong, because he had one of the best days of the season against Pittsburgh. On first down from the 38-yard line, straight ahead, moving inside the 35 for a gain of 3.
In fact, several Pittsburgh players said that Napoleon was the best back they had faced in the last 2 years.
And that's the end of the first quarter. All Navy early. And after 15 minutes of play, it's 21-0 Middies. Home of the 1984 Summer Olympics. You're looking at downtown Los Angeles, the LA Basin, the Pacific Ocean in the background, and as we pull back, Pasadena. Goodyear Blimp hovering above the Rose Bowl. On a gorgeous day as we start the second quarter. Navy with the ball, second down and 5 from the 33-yard line. Coming back to the short side of the field is McCallum, and he takes it to the 19-yard line where he is bumped out of bounds by Gary Baston. Navy leading 21-0.
I talked to Napoleon yesterday, Al, and he told me he had been very influenced by USC tailbacks, particularly Charles White and Marcus Allen. And as you see him here on a kind of a misdirection play to the outside, you see some of the fluidness of Marcus Allen, also Charles White, just the general running style of those great USC tailbacks.
He's already gained 61 yards on 8 carries, and that's Brian Caraveo for a yard or 2. And it'll be second down and 8. Navy on top by a score of 21-0.
I think before Napoleon is through at Navy, he'll rewrite the entire press guide, and he may rewrite a few NCAA records. He's already 5th in all-purpose rushing in NCAA history with still a season left to go.
And he's already established 15 career Navy records already in his junior season. Second down and 9. From the 17-yard line, and Williamson gets sacked back at the 25. Coming barreling through to knock him down, Glenn Biebert, number 82. And he's from Anaheim, so he's playing at home.
You see here that as we look at the first quarter numbers, that the key really were a couple of turnovers, but you see also how Navy dominated in terms of rushing yards, 89-9. Total yards 89-30. Show up was that kickoff return, which totaled out 95 yards.
On third down at 17, on the delay, carrying to the 21 is McCallum. So he gets 4 back after the sack. And Navy working with the wind at their backs, and so an opportune time for a field goal attempt as Young comes in. And the ball will be spotted around the 30-yard line and straight ahead. And look at Gary Tranquil in his second season. Long-time assistant coach. Spent 20 years as an assistant at 6 different schools, including Navy.
He himself was an old quarterback at Wittenberg back in the early 60s.
Steve Young, it'll be a 39-yard attempt. Straight in front of the goalpost, but it is no good. Wide to the left. So Navy's drive is fruitless. 12:58 to go in the half. Army gets it back. 21-0 Navy. It's a zoo. Look at this.
It's a zoo out there. Navy
mascot, the goat. A little bit later on, we're going to tell you about the Army mascot, the fabled mule. We'll get into that as we get some time later on. Army has the ball from the 23-yard line. And Art Zerone takes it out to the 29 for a gain of about 6. Some confusion as to the substitutions right here. Zerone initially thought he was coming out, but he's not. He remains in along with Pratt, number 38. And it'll be second down, call it 3 from the 29-yard line. Turner is the quarterback, turns and gives the ball to Zerone as he chugs his way across the 30 to the 31. It'll be third down and about 2.
Talk a little bit about that quarterback change for Army. Rob Healy, of course, started the game. Army got 3 touchdowns down. Bill Turner Number 9, the quarterback in there. Now, nothing is wrong with Rob Healy. Jim Young just felt that he needed a change. He wanted Healy to take a little breather and see what he could do with Turner. No injury factor, however.
From the 31, third down and a long one. Triplett is in motion, and the pass is knocked down. That's an odd call on 3rd and 1. And upcoming is 4th down now. Don't see this very often, 3rd and short.
Full spinner, 3rd and short yardage. He's trying to get a quick pop pass over the middle. And the linebacker, Tom Doman, is right there.
He's a freshman, number 42, from Royal Oak, Michigan. So Army has to kick. Kicking into the wind. Sardiano. And it's a poor kick that goes out of bounds near midfield. They will spot the ball at the 47. Navy gets it back near midfield with 11:40 to go in the first half.
Heisman Trophy winner in 1963. One of the great quarterbacks of all time, Roger Staubach. How does he spell relief?
You were his contemporary. Well, you were a little bit before his time.
A little bit.
First down from the 48-yard line as McCallum carries into Army territory. Getting to the 45 of Navy, stopped by Gary Baston, the defensive back. Napoleon McCallum on his way to his 8th 100-yard day of the season. He's already picked up 70 yards today in 10 carries, so averaging 7 yards per rush with 11 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the half. Second down 4 from the 46-yard line. McCallum again. Picks up a couple. It'll be third down. Let's check in with Ann Simon again.
Well, you know, there are all kinds of pranks during this Army-Navy game, but Army outsmarted Navy this time around. You see, they brought 4 mules to this game, that, of course, being their mascot. Navy tried to shave an end in the backside of 2 of the mules, but Army surprised them and came out with 2 other mules, and they have their A. So Navy loses on that prank, but I can guarantee you there are a lot more where that one came from.
So to speak, as McCallum on third down on a second effort gets the first, but then fumbles the ball, and Army recovers. Napoleon McCallum appeared to have been initially stopped. Then he was able to move forward for what looked to be a first down and loses the ball. And D. Bryant recovers for the Cadets.
Napoleon McCallum on his favorite play, the blast play off the left side. And it looks momentarily that he's going to spin away and get some daylight. But right about now, he's sandwiched in between 2 Army players, including Glenn Biebert, number 82. And there's the fumble and the recovery.
First down from the 42-yard line. And Turner throwing to the 31 and complete there to number 90, Mark Triplett. Double teamed, a great catch and a lot of traffic with tremendous concentration. Keep his eye on the ball and make the catch.
Bill Turner, now watch the fake right here. And he spins back to his left, looks for number 90, tight end Mark Triplett, who is on an out-and-up route along the left sideline. And look at the hand-eye coordination, the perfect timing as Triplett goes up and comes down with the football. That's the type of play that can turn a game around when you're trailing by 3 touchdowns.
And he also, as you can see, has to come out of the game after he picks up 26. And this is Akins taking it to the 27-yard line. Picking up close to 5. It'll be second down, 5 to go with 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half, and Navy leading Army 21-0.
Notice how Akins covered the football that time with his other hand. He has fumbled twice earlier.
Ball at the 26-yard line. Second down and 5. That's Pratt setting up in a slot to the right. Art Zerone takes it to the 24-yard line. It'll be third down and a long 2 as Steve Peters, number 73, makes the tackle. Jim Young, the head coach for the Cadets of Army. Young had good success at Arizona and Purdue. And then he was out of coaching. Spent last year out of coaching. Did a myriad of things. Wanted to get his life in order in a way. He really wanted to figure out what to do with the rest of his life. And he decided it was back to coaching for him. On 3rd and 2, Turner throwing under some pressure and nearly intercepted. 3 white shirts around the ball. And it's incomplete.
One of the things that Jim Young said about being out of coaching was that he missed the highs and the lows. He said his life was very level during that year, but there was something about his life that was missing, and it was those highs and lows of coaching.
So he relinquished the reins at Purdue to Leon Burtnett, who was on his staff. He sends in his field goal unit now. Craig Stopa, a 42-yard attempt at an angle. Ball spotted down at the 32. It is long enough, and it is good. So Craig Stopa sets off the Army cannon for the first time. It's 21-3 Navy in the second quarter. The lineup tomorrow. Motocross Motorcycle Championship, the Chinese acrobats, and of course the U.S. Olympic hockey team report. Winter Olympics not that far away. Over there to cover them on ABC beginning in early February. McCallum is back deep at the 5-yard line, along with Eric Wallace, the two combining to return the opening kickoff for a touchdown. Craig Stopa, who just kicked a field goal to get Army on the board, to boot this one into the wind. And it's fielded at the 4 by McCallum, who drops it and picks it back up, looking for some room, and he is able to get it back out to the 16-yard line. But the Corps of Cadets, at least, was something to get excited about. The field goal, then they cover McCallum and pin Navy deep, at least at the start of this drive, at the 16-yard line. And Army tries to get back in it. I tell you, the way this game started, it looked like it was going to wind up about 80-0.
You get the feeling right now, though, that the tempo of this game has changed. I think this will be a very important defensive series for Army.
Navy starting at the 15-yard line, and it is McCallum out past the 20 to the 23 as John Roney makes the stop. Terrific name, of course. Just the name itself lends itself to getting your attention. Napoleon McCallum. You'll notice him, and of course, when you're that good, and he's just a junior, he'll probably be on some preseason All-American teams next year. Injured player Mike Staver, number 77, the Army nose guard, is down, so we have a timeout on the field with 8 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the first half at Pasadena. Navy leads by 18.
Tomorrow on NCAA football, undefeated number 2 ranked Texas, who are Cotton Bowl bound, trying to extend their winning streak, tackling intrastate arch rival Texas A&M. Texas A&M tomorrow.
Well, Mike Staver, with an apparent knee injury, needed some assistance in leaving the field, so he is out. The Army nose guard, Rob Olstis, number 46, a junior from Springfield, Virginia, replaces him. And it is second down and 3. Navy has the ball control on the 22-yard line. McCallum is the tailback, and you can see movement on the left side. Flag being dropped. Looked like might have been Rich Coombs, number 56, who was a bit over-anxious, and thus a 5-yard penalty against Navy.
Possible infraction right there, and you see
Bill Gable it is.
Bill Gable, first movement.
Who backs up Coombs.
Illegal procedure, white, second down.
It'll be second down and 8 now. Navy at the 17-yard line. Out of a split back formation this time. Williamson, he's got that knee brace on. He doesn't want to run unless he has to. He gets back to the 20, and Olstis, number 46, makes the stop. There are no plays that I know of in their repertoire today designed to have Williamson run.
This is frustrating when you're a quarterback wearing a knee brace as you see the pressure coming on. Larry Carroll, number 89, quite a story, has been probably the most active defender for Army the last 2 years. Slowed down this year because of injuries. He has been named to the Hula Bowl.
3rd down and 5. A deep drop and good protection. And a penalty marker is thrown as the pass is incomplete. And Hine, and let's see about the flag. Penalty is holding against Navy. So you mentioned, Lee, a big defensive series for Army. And they have responded. They were down 21-0 early. They picked up a field goal to make it 21-3. And now Navy will be forced to punt as apparently the penalty will be declined to make it 4th down.
So they might look back and say that was a crucial series, particularly if they go on to score now. They could have very opportunistic field position depending on this punt.
Mark Colby to do the booting. Wind basically at his back, though it's becoming more of a crosswind. Juggled the snap, but gets it away, and it's taken at the 43, dropped it, covered there by Bob Silver. Near midfield, the Cadets take over after a 38-yard kick. We're about halfway through the period now. 7 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the first half. 21-3, Navy on top, and Navy has won 8 of the last 10 games and tied one other. Army has won only 1 game in this series in the last 10 years.
That was in 1977 when they had Levin Hall at quarterback.
Turner has a man open over the middle. It's Akins, and he takes the ball to the 49-yard line and fumbles at the 49-yard line. And Zerone recovers it.
That's the 3rd time that Akins has coughed up the football today.
And of course, early on when Healy was in at quarterback, he was fumbling snaps. 2nd down. 2 to go from the 49-yard line. Akins again gets dropped at the 47, stopped by Rick Pagel. Let's get a word now from Ann Simon again. Ann?
Al, I'd like you to meet Navy's mascot. This is Billy the Goat. What else would they call it? Goat. He is not the original. The old guy is back on the East Coast. This one was flown in especially for this. This is his first game. Now you notice there's blue and gold paint on his horns, lest anyone should worry. This is non-toxic paint, and he is in fine shape. And Al, I can assure you the place not to be today is downwind from Billy the Goat.
All right, Ann, we're going to give you a little combat pay today, right? Army-Navy game. The first down has just been picked up by Army. So we have met the mascots. I thought those mules, we understand those mules were rented. That was the word we got yesterday. The Army mules, they could not be flown out here. They had to rent a mule. From the 47-yard line, turn thrown at the 40-yard line. And he picks up 7.
How would you like to be a spokesman doing a rent-a-mule commercial?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure, how do you rent a mule? And what do? Do you go to O.J. and Palmer?
I was thinking that, yeah. Bill Turner off to a good start here in a backup role. He's 5 of 7 now in the passing department for 59 yards. I like the way he's throwing the ball, and I like the way he's mixing his plays.
He picks up 7 here. It is 2nd down and 3 from the 40-yard line, and it's the up-back, number 38, Dave Pratt, a sophomore from El Paso, Texas, who picks up a first down. This is shocking in a way because Army is on its way back, and if you tuned in late, Navy not only led 21-0, but they led 21-0 within the first 4 minutes, and this one looked like it was going to be one of the great routes of all time.
Major blowout.
But it's 21-3, and here's Army moving again. They're at the 34-yard line. Turner is rolling to his left. He's looking downfield, and he throws complete to the 29-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5 as Art Zerone makes the catch. And it'll be 2nd down and 5. Tomorrow, of course, more college football coming your way. Early game gets underway at noon Eastern time at 9 o'clock here On the West Coast, as the Longhorns, who are ranked second in the country, go to College Station to take on Jackie Sherrill's team, Texas against Texas A&M. Longhorns still with hopes of winning that national championship, but they'll need some help. Somebody has to knock off Nebraska. Akins gets dropped back at the 32-yard line by Joe Papetti, number 47. It'll be 3rd down and 7 after a loss of 2. One other game being played today, Alabama leading Boston College. That game taking place in Foxborough, Massachusetts. It's 13-6 in favor of the Tide in the 3rd period. The Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The first time ever hosting the Army-Navy game. First time the game has been played west of Chicago. The pass over the middle is complete to the 24-yard line to Mark Triplett, and it's very close to a first down. Close enough, in fact, to call for a measurement. So they'll bring in the chains just inside the 25-yard line. Even if they don't make it, there's little doubt they'll be going for this next play. Don't even have to make that decision. First down.
So Turner has now hit 7 of his first 9 passes, and he's getting a nice blend now of runs and passes. Ideally, Jim Young believes in a balanced attack that would include 2 runs for every pass. His priorities are defense, the kicking game, and a balanced attack. Running first, passing second. Ideally, you pass off of the run.
First down from the 25-yard line. They give it to Akins. And that play didn't fool the Navy defense. George Furlong, number 52, a senior from Falls Church, Virginia, whose father graduated from Navy, was the man who led the charge. Loss of 2. 2nd down and 12 with the ball at the 26-yard line and 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the first half. Navy leading by 18. Shift to the shotgun. Turner, who is 7 out of 9, coming back, a dangerous pass, and he got away with it. Zerol, the intended receiver, but Papetti read it. And had he caught it and intercepted it, that was another 7 for Navy.
This is the first bad throw of the day for Bill Turner, number 9, operating out of the shotgun. Look, he's under pressure, and he tries to throw cross field, which is a mistake because Joe Papetti, number 47, nearly steps in and has a crucial interception. That would have been the first interception of Turner's career. He was 12 of 21 in 4 games last season.
3rd and 12, and
I think Turner got it back. I think Turner himself came in there and dove on the ball.
Appears to be the initial indication, and it is. But it was a 3rd down play. So a 4th down here. Watch the snap again.
Watch the snap. It looks like it comes up short. I think maybe he thought the quarterback was still in the T formation.
Yep. He forgot they were in the shotgun, exactly. Craig Stolpa now will attempt a field goal. It'll be a 45-yard attempt with the ball to be spotted at the 35-yard line. Kicking into the wind. He's already kicked one. This one appears to be low and also wide. And he slipped. Slippery footing. And it's no good. So Navy leads 21-3. We'll be back. First to look at the Naval Academy at Annapolis, and then a word. That's coming up at halftime. Talked to both coaches. Ian Simon will be down there. And Fireman's Fun flashback, the 46 Army-Navy game.
Can't wait to see that. That's my favorite game.
Navy with the ball after the missed field goal attempt.
Yes, it will be right at the end of the
carries out to the 31-yard line. 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first half. Navy with the ball and on top by a score of 21-3. Second and 5. throwing his first bomb of the day, and a flag is dropped. Interference is the call. Eric Griffin and Greg Brand, number 80, the two men involved in the play. It looked to me as if, and we'll see it on the replay, it looked like Brand ran up the leg of Griffin. And offensive interference is the call.
There it is right there. It's exactly what happened. Brand goes right up the leg of Griffin. The ball is overthrown. And they will mark it against Navy. That's the tail end of the play as you look once again. And you see it's blatant on the part of the offense.
Down, third down.
Offensive interference that not only costs you yardage, but you lose the down as well. So it'll be third down. And 20. Third and 20. McCallum. Out to the 23-yard line as John Roney, number 54, makes the tackle. And so with fourth down coming up, Navy will be forced to kick again. And Army will get it back. Army has all of its timeouts remaining as they'll try to mount a drive here at the conclusion of the first half. As you can see, the time remaining, 1:45. And Navy to kick it away. Bob Silver is back deep to receive single safety. Ball bouncing in front of him. Takes a decent Navy roll. And it will be down at the 37-yard line. So 63 yards away from the end zone. Army will have the football, trailing by 18 points. 90 seconds on the clock and all three timeouts remaining. Said it earlier, you take this game out of where we all thought it had found a permanent home, and yet the spirit, the color, the excitement of the pageantry remains the same as Turner moves it out to the 43, and a late hit, and a flag goes down at the 43-yard line. Personal foul against Navy is the call. Number 9, Bill Turner, sophomore from Alexandria, Virginia. Three brothers who all graduated from the U.S. Military Academy.
We have a dead ball, personal foul, White, first down.
Turner's father, a retired lieutenant colonel. Another look here.
The late hit is obvious by number 60 right there.
Pagel.
It's Bill Pagel.
Out of the shotgun now. Turner dropping it off. And timeout has been called by the Cadets.
Good screen developed here out of the shotgun. Now watch how Turner sets it up. Aikens, number 23 there, does a good job of juking. That's what he does best. He relies more on his quickness and his balance than his true speed. He's like Napoleon McCallum in that sense. They're both about 4.5 or 4.6 in the 40-yard dash, but they both have good juke steps, good balance, good acceleration. And they're fine student athletes. That's something that we use as a cliche a lot in college football, but here that is really true.
Yeah, it is true. When you talk about Army and Navy, you're right. You don't threaten a kid with taking a scholarship away, is what it amounts to.
Absolutely.
It's a first down for Army as they take their first time out. 59 seconds remaining in the half.
And SAT does not stand for Saturday. It stands for Strategic Aptitude Test, right?
Army and Navy. Well, you know, the part of the problem is, of course, that it is so difficult to get in. And over the years, well, they used to have terrific teams at both academies, but it's been a while since both came into this game ranked in the top 10. This year in particular has been very difficult for both Army and Navy, in as much as both come in with a mark of 2-8. Charles Russell is piloting that blimp on a very breezy day, the Goodyear blimp, high above the Rose Bowl. It's a stadium that was used very infrequently. They used to play, of course, the Rose Bowl game itself and the Junior Rose Bowl and some high school games. Now, of course, in addition to hosting this one and the Rose Bowl game itself, it's also the home of the UCLA Bruins. Turner out of the shotgun on first down. Under pressure, gets it off, and incomplete. So it'll be second down. At least he avoided the sack, which would have cost him about 10 yards.
From this lower angle, you can get a sense of the pressure that Navy's applying, and you see the blitz coming on. Rutherford and Herlong particularly apply the pressure to Turner, and he should not throw that ball because he's under extreme pressure. He was lucky that time that he didn't get picked off.
Second down and 10 from the 32-yard line. Out of the gun again. Akins takes the inside handoff, and that play doesn't work. Steve Peters smelled it out. Stockton, 47 seconds remaining.
Questionable
timeout is called. Yeah, it is. At that point, I guess you're trying to trick them. You figure the defense is looking fast, and you try to give it to Akins and let him run, but didn't work.
Because now we're going to have a third and very obvious pass situation. Turner, talking to Jim Young along the sidelines, is 8 of 12 now for 82 yards, so he's off to a good start. But I think he should have thrown on that last play.
One timeout now remains in Army's arsenal.
Jim Young is no stranger to the Rose Bowl. He was acting head coach here in 1970 when Bo Schembechler had his position. At that time, Young was the defensive coordinator at Michigan.
And assistant coach, and of course Bo was stricken the night before, and Young took over the next day, and that 1970 game matched SC against Michigan, and SC won it by a score of 10-3. Young then went on to Arizona, had good success there, on to Purdue, where among others he coached Mark Herman, a great quarterback, and spent the year out, now in his first season at Army. On third down and 14, Turner rolling, throwing complete to the 21-yard line, and that's a first down to Rob Dickerson, number 80. Back up tight end. And let's see where they spot it. They may not give him a first down. Look from here as if he was out at the 21. He does have it.
This might be the best throw of the day right here as Turner drills the ball to the backup tight end, number 80, Rob Dickerson, along the sideline.
It is a first down. A first and 10 from the 21. The pass complete to the 12-yard line. And Dickerson again. He goes right back to him. And with 32 seconds remaining now.
And that man right there is red hot. He's hit 10 of his first 14 passes. So it looks like it was a good move by Jim Young to replace Rob Healy with Bill Turner.
And it's another timeout. Their final one taken by Army. 32 seconds remaining in the first half. Navy on top, 21-3. Turner and Young getting together, but they have no timeouts remaining now. And the next play will be second down and 1 from the 13-yard line. All right, now, you're a former All-American quarterback. Second and 1, 13, no timeouts left, 32 seconds. The play call, sir, is what?
I would like some type of a sprint-out pass. That's what he's been doing effectively. And if you could get some type of a pick-off action, a combination route, which would isolate a faster receiver on a linebacker, that's the type of thing I would shoot for. Now, Turner has shown me good enough mobility that if he saw an opening, I would just dash for the end zone. That's what I would do.
Second down and 1 from the 13-yard line. He's going to drop straight back and throw, and it's incomplete at the 8-yard line. Intended for Dickerson again, so it is third down now, 3rd and 1.
I was half right. He went to a combination pattern, but he didn't sprint out. The ball is certainly within the grasp of backup tight end Rob Dickerson right there, but he loses the football, and he's not happy about it.
3rd in the yard, 28 seconds remaining now in the first half. Turner under a lot of pressure and has to eat it at the 25-yard line. Pagel makes the sack. As And so it's 4th down, and the clock continues to run with 15 seconds. They can't stop it. They're going to try to attempt a field goal. Stopa has come on, and with the clock running down, a 40-yard attempt by Stopa, who is 1 out of 2. So they'll get the play off. The kick is long enough, and the kick is good as time expired. So at least they get the 3 after the sack as Stopa comes in to boot it through. And at the end of the first half, the Army-Navy game at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, Navy on top 21-6. Navy doing all of its scoring in the first 4 minutes of the game. And then the Army defense stiffened. A couple of field goals by Stopa. Let's go down to Ann Simon.
Coach, how much did that touchdown on the opening kickoff help this team, much less the spirit?
Well, other than the first 3 minutes, we haven't played very well. And it's been, we kind of got ahead, and it looks like we've relaxed a little bit and haven't played very well since the opening 4 or 5 minutes of the ball game.
Now, Army seems to be picking up momentum. To what do you attribute that to?
Well, they've had some success. We came down and missed the field goal, and the other end fumbled, and they got the movement, and they've got some success, and they're going in with the momentum right now.
Coach, thank you, and good luck. Good luck, and we'll be back after this commercial with more halftime activities and after these words from your local station.
No! Why you never go on like this? You never be on the road. You never be on the road.
Back at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Good crowd looking up on a sparkling day. There's your halftime score. Navy on top, 21-6. The Naval Academy Band performing before a crowd of about 80,000. Great Army-Navy games of all time back in 1946. That's the subject of our Fireman's Fund flashback today.
Today's Fireman's Fund flashback is brought to you by Fireman's Fund Insurance. And Fireman's Fund Insurance is brought to you by an independent agent near you.
This was the 47th meeting between Army and Navy. 103,000 fans looking on at Philadelphia Municipal Stadium. Doc Blanchard and Glenn Davis, the Army co-captains. Leon Bramlett was the Navy captain. Army came into the game undefeated, a record of 8-0-1, and they had won the national championship the prior 2 seasons. Early in the game, this swing pass to Mr. Outside, number 41, Glenn Davis. They called it the California Special, and he went in from 14 yards to put Army on top by a score of 7-0. Navy then scored to make it 7-6, but they missed the conversion. And it was Doc Blanchard, later in the first half, the man they called Mr. Inside, the man who won the Heisman Trophy in 1945, galloping 52 yards for that touchdown to make the score 14-6. Then Blanchard, from the double wing, scoring his second touchdown on that pass from Glenn Davis to make the score Army 21, Navy 6. But the midshipmen were able to battle back. They scored again to make it 21-12. And then this halfback pass to Leon Bramlett made the score 21-18. Late in the fourth quarter, Navy was driving again. And with time running out and no timeouts left, One play remaining, and Lynn Tuning was stopped just shy of the goal line. A tremendous goal line stand by the cadets, preserving the victory. And the final score in one of the greatest of the Army-Navy classics, the cadets 21 and the midshipmen 18.
I'm with the man who won the Heisman Trophy in 1946. They called him Mr. Outside, Glenn Davis, ladies and gentlemen. Reminisce with us for a moment, Glenn. What's the difference between the spirit way back then and today?
And I don't think the spirit has changed at all. Maybe the caliber of football has, but being an Army man, I'm looking for the second half, and I think there's a possibility we might come out victorious after all.
Glenn, is there anything that can be done to make the quality of football better at Army and all these schools?
Well, I think that what the Army needs is another Colonel Red Blake. He's was my coach at West Point and was at West Point and the coach for 20 years. He's a winner. He's a man that's respected by all the players, an outstanding personality. He knew how to select his staff, and like I say, he's a winner. And I believe if we have, even at his age right now, he'll be 87 in February, and I really would like to say hello to him and wish him happy birthday.
Well, Mr. Outside, thank you very much, and we'll be back with more halftime activities after this commercial.
Halftime at the Rose Bowl, Pasadena. The Naval Academy leading Army by a score of 21-6. Coming up tomorrow, good battle, good traditional rivalry. Texas A&M. A preview look now with Tim Brandt.
Tomorrow here on ABC, 12 noon Eastern time from Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. The unbeaten, untied Longhorns take on traditional interstate rival Texas A&M with head coach Jackie Sherrill. It is the 90th time that these two clubs have met in what is a bitter rivalry, but this time there is more involved than just the bragging rights to the Lone Star State. This time, there is a national championship at stake. Here in Austin, Texas at the University of Texas, the fans here believe that they can win that title, but there is also a strong feeling that the way the polls are structured right now, unless top-ranked Nebraska loses, they will be saddled with the #2 ranking. I asked head coach Freddie Akers about that frustration.
We don't feel we have to apologize to anyone because our schedule has been made up of some of the very top football teams in this entire country. And I want to tell you something else. We've beaten most of them on the road. It's been really a tough task. And anyone that can't recognize that either does not know enough about college football or has failed to do his research.
Freddie, it's been said that the Freddie Akers philosophy has hurt Texas in the polls. That philosophy being substitute freely, pull the starters early, and whatever you do, don't run up the score. Do you believe that?
Well, we think that football is for as many of the team members as is possible. All of them, obviously, can't participate. Many of them can only practice and train the others. But those that can play, want to play. And I think we build a stronger program. It's our way of having a consistent program by training our players with meaningful experience and not just practice. We do implement the team theory here. We don't have individual stars here. They are all stars in ability, but they share. And I think this is the strength of our football team. And if it causes people to vote for others, then that doesn't bother me. I'm not changing what I think is best for our young men here.
Are you in favor of a playoff system?
I think most people are. And yes, I would be. I will say this quickly, though. I'm not thrilled about any of the proposals I've seen. I don't think any of us have come up with a way to justly do that and still eliminate opinions. What we have right now is opinions, and if we can't produce a system that eliminates opinions, there's no need to change. The only reason you'd be changing would be for money.
So the Longhorns will continue their pursuit of a national championship in that great Southwest Conference shootout tomorrow. And we'll be back with more halftime activities in a moment.
At the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Navy leads Army at halftime 21-6. Navy doing all of its scoring in the first 4 minutes of the game. And I thought it was well put by Gary Tranquil. They played well early on, but have bogged down since. And this is the way the game began, the first time in the history of this series that the opening kickoff has been returned for a touchdown.
The last time Navy had a kickoff return for a touchdown was with Joe Bolino's team back in 1958. It looks like a mix-up, but it's a planned play as Eric Wallace gets the ball. He's number 86 right there. Normally a defensive back, but a gifted all-around athlete who was a wishbone quarterback in high school and also came here as a wide receiver. So you see some of his open field speed there after he gets the handoff finally from McCallum.
Then Army fumbled, and back came Navy right away with McCallum taking it in from 14.
Well, this has been one of Knapp's favorite plays right there. It's the draw play at his tailback position, and all he does is give a little juke step and move to the outside and blazes past everybody on into the end zone.
It then appeared we were on our way to a major blowout, because on the next series, Steve Brady intercepts this pass and returns it 65 yards for a touchdown from the starting quarterback Healy, and this turned out to be his last play of the half.
Rob Healy indeed was the quarterback at this time. He was trying to go deep over the middle to Spellman, number 4, and Brady right there steps in perfect position at his center field position. He's the safety man. And now cruises to the outside along the sidelines, 65 yards on the interception return.
And that came with 3 minutes and 57 seconds having elapsed. But that turned out to be the end of the Navy scoring for the first half. Craig Stopa added a couple of field goals in the second quarter, including one at the gun from 40 yards. His prior field goal from a distance of 42 yards. And thus it is 21-6 in favor of Navy at halftime. Quite a sight. Halftime activities continuing on a sparkling, clear day in Pasadena. Stars and Stripes being performed out on the field right now at the Rose Bowl.
United States Military Academy, class of 1981. At the opposite end of the field is a platoon from the 2nd Battalion, 75th Rangers, led by First Lieutenant Drew Harrington, United States Military Academy, class of 1980. During the operation in Grenada last month, these men and other members of the Ranger battalions made a daring and courageous jump into the Point Salinas Airport. Encountering intense anti-aircraft and small arms fire, they jumped from an altitude of only 500 feet, which is less than twice the length of this football field. Under fire of unexpected intensity, these men moved quickly toward their assigned objectives, secured the airfield for use by American and Eastern Caribbean forces, and rescued the students at the nautical school. These soldiers epitomize the rapid deployment and superb fighting capabilities of your United States Army. They are excellence in action. Join me in giving a thank you to our nation's newest hero.
And so the halftime halftime activities are winding down. The teams will be coming back onto the field very shortly, and we'll get the second half underway. Navy 21, Army 6 at halftime.
We're back at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, where the score at the half is 21-6. Navy with me, head coach of Army, Jim Young. A lot of mistakes in that first half.
Well, there sure were. In the first 4 minutes, of course, we got blown right out of the game, but we're starting to come back, so it'll be a much better second half, I believe.
The momentum really seemed to pick up. Did you feel it in the locker room?
Yes, definitely. Of course, that kickoff takes a lot out of you, and we've come back now. We're ready for the second half.
Well, statistically, this is a second half ball club, so we'll be interested in seeing what happens.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Thank you. Thank you. Back up to you, Al Michaels.
Well, thank you, Ann. And the statistics do show that the Army in the third quarter outscored its opponents this season 50-47, the only quarter in which they did score more than the opposition. There are the numbers through 30 minutes. Lee?
Look at the passing yards for Navy there. Not a single yard passing, and you see how Army started to turn things around in the second quarter after they were dominated so much in the first quarter. But Al, take away that interception return and the kickoff return, and you have a close football game here.
Very true. Two big plays as Williamson warms up. And, of course, the other touchdown was scored on a very short drive that followed an Army fumble. So it has not been a case of Navy really sustaining anything. But I think you got to give the Army team a lot of credit in as much as, and I know you probably felt the same way sitting up here with 3:57 gone in the game and it's 21-0. It was going to be a very long day and a lot of sets going off very early.
I thought we had the makings of maybe the worst blowout in Army-Navy history. But I'm delighted the way Army has turned this ball game around, and I think we're going to have a heck of a second half. What you just said about the third quarter statistics, I think, will be very important, particularly if they hold true.
So back deep for Army, and they'll receive here in the second half Travis Jackson and D. Bryant. Steve Young to kick off for Navy. He has the wind at his back. And Navy on top by 15 as the second half commences in Pasadena. Fumbled at the 5, back to the goal line, and then coming out with it is Bryant. And he takes it to the 10. And let's see the defense as they introduce themselves.
Kurt Pagel, defensive end from Phoenix, Arizona.
Eric Rutherford, defensive tackle, Boulder, Colorado.
George Rowan, nose guard, Falls Church, Virginia.
Stephen Peters, defensive tackle, Freedom, Pennsylvania. Eric Fudge, defensive end, Phoenix, Arizona.
Andy Ponciego, strong side linebacker, Littleton, Colorado.
Tom Doman, weak side linebacker, Royal Oak, Michigan.
The Navy defense as Army comes up with Bill Turner, the quarterback, handing it off on the first play to Elton Akins for a gain of 3, and now the Navy secondary.
Eric Wallace, cornerback, Hampton, Virginia.
Vince McBeth, cornerback, Camden, Arkansas.
Joe Papetti, strong safety, Edgewater, Maryland.
Steve Brady, free safety, Oak Brook, New Jersey.
And Brady was the man who returned the interception, 65 yards for the touchdown. Second down and 7. Cadets with the ball at the 13-yard line. Turner, who started the game on the bench, gets blindsided, loses the ball, and Army recovers at the 11-yard line. Joe Papetti, all over the joint in the first half, was the man who came blitzing through number 47 and dislodged the ball, but Army maintains possession.
Joe Papetti, number 47, the rover back, who is indeed all over the field today, comes blitzing through, and right there gets the arm of Bill Turner. The ball flies up in the air. It's recovered there by Clint Paulett, number 52. Fortunate for Army.
Back at the 7 on third down and 13. They try Zerone, and he gets it back to the original line of scrimmage, so nothing cooking for the Cadets on their first series here in the second half. 13 minutes and 30 seconds remaining to be played in the third quarter. And Army will be forced to kick, and they'll have to kick into the wind, which has really picked up again, and blowing straight into the face of the kicker, Joe Sardiano. Look at the way the flags are blowing here in the LA Basin today. Wind gusting at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Line drive kick that takes a good Army bounce, and McCallum lets it roll. And at the 47-yard line, Army feels they have recovered after a Navy man touched it, and they are correct.
the touch right there. Here comes John Roney, number 54, into your picture. He sees that the ball has been touched. He covers it for the Cadets, and the great linebacker has it.
Pat Turner comes back this way, and it's tipped and incomplete. He threw it into the middle of 3 defenders. It was tipped by Joe Papetti, number 47. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Turner is the quarterback. Remember, Healy started. Then Akins and Zerone are the running backs. Noble and Spellman are the wide receivers. Up front, Clint Collett, number 52, replaced Ron Rice, who was injured earlier. Collett, a freshman from Lake City, Florida. 2nd down, 10 at the Navy 47-yard line. Akins, 2, and it's Papetti, number 47. Joe Papetti, a junior from Edgewater, Maryland. Big day for him.
In the 50 defense, of course, the Roverback has the opportunity to make a lot of tackles, but Papetti has been taking a real advantage of that situation.
3rd down, called at 9, ball at the 45-yard line. Army successful 3 of 10 times in this situation. Turner trying to make it 4 of 11, but it's batted away. It'll be forced to kick. Tom Dolman, number 42. That's the 2nd time Dolman has batted away a pass. He's a freshman from Royal Oak, Michigan. And so it's 4th down. The Cadets get the break after the punt had been touched. Recover the fumble, but are unable to capitalize. And they'll have to kick from midfield. McCallum drops back deep for Navy. Kicked by Sardiano. Bounces into the end zone and through for the touchback. It'll come out to the 20 with 12:10 to go in the period. 21-6, Middies. Navy has the ball at their own 20-yard line at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Navy on top by a score of 21-6. The first offensive play of the 2nd half. Williamson giving the ball to McCallum, and he's wrapped up that for a gain of 2. Let's meet the line of linebackers for the Cadets.
Brad Allen, defensive end, Proudtown, Illinois.
Jim Jennings, defensive tackle, North Brunswick, New Jersey.
Mike Staver, nose guard, Lamar's Iowa.
Brian Gibbons, I'm a defensive tackle from Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Glenn Beavert, defensive end, Anaheim, California.
Jim Gentili, linebacker, Sally Beach, Florida. John Roney, linebacker, Yorba Linda, California.
Williamson rolling, has some room, and he'll go out of bounds with that knee bracing ball at the 38, but he had a lot of room. Picks up the 1st down, and here's the Army secondary now.
Barry Griffin, quarterback, Roger, Florida.
D. Bryant, cornerback, Clear Lake, Texas. Herb Ayton, strong safety, Princeville, Illinois.
Gary Baston, free safety, Saxonburg, Pennsylvania.
And that Army defense has just yielded a 1st down. By the way, you saw Brad Allen introduce himself. Larry Carroll is now spelling Allen the defensive end. And on 1st down from the 36-yard line, gain of 2.
Rick Pagel, who's having a terrific day for Navy. He, of course, we talked about earlier, one of the Pagel brothers. Mike Pagel, the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Colts, played for Frank Cush in college and also now professionally.
Brother went to Arizona State. 2nd down and 8 at the 38-yard line. Williamson dumping it off to Caraveo, and he is tackled near the line of scrimmage by Glenn Beavert, who is a senior from nearby Anaheim. Well, nearby, relatively speaking. If you've got to drive down, they take about an hour in the traffic.
What's that, 15 minutes on the freeway? There's an interesting story. Jim Matroka, the Army captain, has been slowed down by injuries this year. Lost his starting job, but he has continued to work with the same intensity as if he were a starter.
3rd down and 8 from the 38-yard line, and it's Williamson rolling and throwing and finding a man for a 1st down and a fumble at the 49-yard line. And let's see when they unpile. It's Mark Stevens who made the catch. second fumble here in the second half.
Just when it appears that Navy is going to get some passing yards, the catch made by tight end Mark Stevens, and Herb Ayton, the strong safety, number 25, strips the ball away and comes up with a fumble recovery.
So Army gets it back near midfield as you look down at the Rose Bowl. It's 21-6 Navy.
Watch the defensive work of Herb Ayton, number 25, number 28, the strong safety for Army. You see right here how he strips the ball away and then covers it. And that's a big break for the Cadets. They now find themselves with very opportunistic field position.
Again, they've got to start capitalizing. They had it after the last fumble as well.
Similar.
It's true. They're at the 49-yard line. Navy's given them opportunities to get back in the game. Now Army has to exploit those chances. Pressure, and the pass is bounced incomplete, intended for Art Zerone. Second down. If you joined us late, this, of course, the first time that the Army-Navy game has ever been played west of Chicago. A local group a couple of years ago started thinking about how they could get the academies to play a game out here, and they were very responsive. Got some help and financed the trips for the Corps of Cadets and the Brigade of Midshipmen privately. Brought, in essence, both student bodies out here, and it's turned out to be quite a spectacle. Second down and 10, and it's Aikens sweeping to the right side and looking for the first down and coming very close to getting it as he's written down at the 41-yard line by Eric Wallace, the cornerback, who returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown.
That's what Elton Aikens does so well and why he's one of the best all-purpose backs in the country. He's really more effective as a cutter and as a juker, and he relies more on his balance than he really relies on his true speed. He's not what you would call a burner by any means, but he has good running instincts. That time he was able to plant the foot, make a little move to the inside, juke back to the outside, and pick up the valuable yardage.
And he gets the first down at 1st and 10 with the ball at the 40-yard line. 9:40 to go in the third period. Army with the ball and down by 15 as the pass is incomplete. Intended for Jarvis Hollingsworth, the wide receiver, number 84. Interesting, of course, the Corps of Cadets and the Brigade of Midshipmen making a lot of noise, but a lot of the other fans here, I think, are really here more for the spectacle, and I think quite a few of the people in the Rose Bowl don't have a rooting interest, but they're just absorbing everything that's happening here and just enjoying the game.
Well, we talk a lot about the color and pageantry in college football, but this really is the ultimate color and pageantry game.
Second down and 10 from the 40-yard line. And down goes Turner at the 49-yard line. Pressure from both sides, and the man who led the way was number 44, Eric Fudge. Did not fudge his intentions.
Oh, boy. Eric Fudge, number 44, the defensive end, is the one who applies the pressure to Turner. The blitz was on. He was trying a straight drop-back pass. That's all the puns I'm going to add on that one.
Yeah, you're right. I thought you'd let that just die.
Off Fudge.
All right. Third down and 18 at the 49-yard line. From the shotgun. Turner going and at the 29-yard line. Hollingsworth for a first down. Big play on 3rd and 18. It's Jarvis Hollingsworth with the reception. 21 yards.
Jarvis Hollingsworth, the flanker back, number 84, is running a deep drag in route. Watch, little hesitation right there. He comes back inside, and that ball is thrown perfectly by Turner, who is now having a good game. He is now 11 completions in 21 attempts.
The tailback is Aikens carrying through the middle to the 28-yard line.
You know, if you think back to take away those first 4 minutes of the ball game, and you'd have to say that the Cadets have really outplayed Navy today.
Absolutely. And Gary Tranquil was quite candid about it when he talked to Ann Simon at the half.
He is anything but tranquil right now.
You can imagine. Second down and 8. Again, pressure, but a man is open at the 21-yard line. It's Dickerson. And he gets to the 13, where Vince McBeth makes the tackle. So the Cadets mounting a strong drive, a first down at the 13-yard line.
Bill Turner continuing to be effective, particularly on the intermediate routes, this time throwing to his backup tight end, Rob Dickerson. Despite the fact that the ball is tipped, the completion is there. Vince McBeth, number 19, makes the takedown for Navy.
First and 10 for the Cadets at the 13 of the midshipmen. Lofted and dropped in the end zone. Scott Spellman had it in his hands and couldn't hold on. And 6 points went wasted.
Great timing on the spin around pass by Turner as he tries to go to Spellman on a quick fade pattern up the left sideline. Now watch how open he gets momentarily as he gets in between the coverage. McBeth, number 19, comes over again, but that was a very catchable ball. That's the type of thing that can really frustrate coaches when they have to re-look at that on the film. There are the numbers reflected right there on your screen for Bill Turner, backup quarterback, who's having a terrific afternoon here today for Army.
It is second down and 10. Turner off the bootleg, and they don't get a penalty call. They sure want it, though. Dickerson was hit by Joe Papetti. And Army wants a flag, but they don't get it. Very, very close to being interference.
There's the waggle or bootleg action that Al talked about coming to his left. It's Rob Dickerson, the tight end, battling with Joe Papetti, number 47.
Well, what'd you think? I thought that was interference.
I did too.
Look at this. Yep. They didn't call it. Third down and 10 from the 13-yard line. And that one is batted away. And there's a flag on that call. Eric Wallace can't believe it. Jarvis Hollingsworth, the intended receiver. Well, I tell you, they don't call it on an obvious one. This one I can't wait to see again on the replay. That's what I'm not sure about. Take another look here.
I'll have to look at it right now. And let's see, Eric Wallace, number 86, is coming up from his safety position. And there you see the contact actually simultaneous with how when he touched the football. Another look from the quarterback's viewpoint. Let's watch Wallace. Now he really slams the ball down, but he also makes contact.
So the interference call is first and goal for Army at the 1-yard line. Turner is asking for some quiet. 7:21 remaining in the third period in what's turned out to be a football game. It appeared to be a rout early on. Akins cannot tunnel his way through. And it'll be second down and goal. He is stopped by Ponsiego and Papetti. Two key men in the Navy defensive scheme today. Second down, goal. Navy leading Army by a score of 21-6. 7 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the third period. Turner taking over in the first quarter with his team down 21-0 and trying to guide Army right back into the game. He'll take it himself, and he's in for the touchdown. So the Cadets of Army are right back in the game with Navy on top by a score of 21-12. And he would figure they'll go for 2 here.
Turner calls his own number. All that has to happen is for the ball to break the plane of the goal line. That happened and more. He's right in behind Clint Follett, number 52, his center.
And when you're down by 9, you have to go for 2. When you figure it out mathematically, you go for 1, you're still down by 8. You're going to need a 2-point conversion anyway. And they're going to take a timeout to decide which play. So a timeout with a 2-point conversion attempt upcoming. 6:53 to go in the third period. That'd be a good one. Navy by 9. Interestingly enough, now figure this one out. Army's going to at least ostensibly attempt a 1-point conversion. They call the timeout, and Stope is in the kick. And Laughlin will hold it. He's a quarterback, so maybe we'll see a fake. Let's see. If he's successful, you're down by 8. And he is. So that's interesting. Young outscored the 1 point, and they're down 21-13. So they're a touchdown and a 2-point conversion away. With 6:53 remaining in the third period. And obviously, Young figures he's got enough time, and he elects to go for the 1 point here, take his chances.
I think that's the key thing, the fact that there is so much time remaining. If a similar situation came up in the fourth quarter, I think he would have gone for the 2.
Yep, he also wasted a timeout there, so keep that in mind. Maybe of some significance later on. Gary Tranquil talking things over with one of the officials. And tomorrow, coming up from College Station, Texas, it'll be the Longhorns of Texas, undefeated, with a mark of 10-0 and trailing only Nebraska in the polls. And, of course, Nebraska will be taking on Oklahoma tomorrow. So, conceivably, a Sooner win and a Longhorn win, and you can see Texas on top. The Huskers, though, have other ideas. Texas and Texas A&M at noon Eastern time tomorrow. Jim Young and his cadets, and there are the numbers reflected there on the drive.
So take away the first 4 minutes of this football game, and Army would be leading.
13-0.
They have dominated ever since then.
They're down by 8. Stopa, who has kicked 2 field goals, and an extra point, kicking off into the wind. Toward the sideline, it's McCallum from the 10. Napoleon out past the 20. Ankle tackled at the 23-yard line by Matt Buckner, number 22. So Navy trying to mount a drive. And when you think about it, Navy has not mounted a drive today because the touchdowns came on a kickoff return, an interception return, and a short drive after a fumble deep in Army territory. From the 23-yard line with Rick Williamson calling the signals. He gives it to McCallum, and McCallum bursting through the middle, and Napoleon takes it out to the 41-yard line where he's stopped by D. Bryant.
Now you can see why some people think Napoleon McCallum is going to be the best running back in the country next year. Certainly one of the best runners in the country right now. And in terms of his all-purpose yards, he is the best.
And he's over 100 yards for the 8th time this season. He's now gained 108 on the day. And on first down, he'll pick up 109, 110, and more than that as he takes the ball across the 50 and into Army territory at 3 and 4 flags, then go down. As McCallum, who has now set a Navy record for most 100-yard gains in a season, has picked up another first down. The penalty markers all over the joint. Vince Price, the referee, tells us about it.
Dead ball, personal foul, flag, 15 yards.
There is the cheap shot, as we call it. D. Bryant. Oh, you don't do that. Greg Blanchard was the recipient.
Well, you do it if you can do it covertly, but I'd say they caught that one. There were 4 flags that went down on that play.
Come on, no covert operations here today.
Yeah, that's right, I forgot. Not in this game, anyway. First down at the 32-yard line. Straight ahead goes Brian Caraveo. And it'll be second down and 7. This program, an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. A 5-second pause here to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
32 Alive, WLKY-TV, Louisville.
5 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in the third period. Al Michaels along with Lee Grosscup and Ann Simon. Navy on top by a score of 21-13. We have an injured Navy player, that's John Roney, but a very minor injury as he comes right off the field now. And at least for the moment, Pat Scanlon will take his place at the left linebacker slot. There's a final score as Boston College defeats Alabama in Foxborough, 20-13. Second down and 7 from the 29-yard line. And Williamson throwing and completing it to Mark Stevens at the 13-yard line for a first down. And another marker has gone down as Navy is moving after Army scored the touchdown. Apparently there was no penalty. The official just simply dropped the flag. No penalty. First down, 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. McCallum through the middle inside the 10. Napoleon McCallum fights his way just shy of the goal line. He did not get in, but it will be first down and goal. He is stopped by Gary Baston. So Navy picks a very opportune time to establish itself with its first significant drive of the afternoon.
Look at the power and the acceleration of Napoleon McCallum right there. Now remember, he was a 3-sport athlete in high school: wrestling, track, and football. And he has high jumped 6'10". Very strong legs, very fluid, graceful athlete.
Meanwhile, Army's going to take a timeout here. Army takes a timeout on defense, and that's their second timeout of the half. And they have just one remaining with 4:57 left to play in the third period. If you joined us late, Navy scored very quickly and explosively. Returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and 3 minutes and 57 seconds into the game, it was 21-0 Navy. But Army has taken control of the game since that point with 2 field goals and a touchdown, 20-13. However, Navy has now mounted a long, sustained drive that appears ready to culminate with a touchdown here with a first and goal at the 1-yard line.
And Napoleon McCallum now has 132 yards in 18 carries. Gary Tranquil has said he worries at times about overworking Napoleon McCallum. One game he carried 39 times. However, Knapp says the more I carry, the better I feel. Again, like the USC tailbacks.
And he's been the key horse on this drive, no question about that.
He has been.
Almost a horse and a half stature at this point. First and goal from the 1. No signal yet. Second down. Jim Gentile stopping him. Knows that ball is going to be as close to the goal line as it can be.
Almost over. Almost has it right there. All that has to happen is for the ball to break the plane of the goal line.
Second down. Will Williamson carry again? He does, and he's in. It's a touchdown for Navy. Punctuated by the cannon. And with 4:17 remaining in the third period, Navy comes charging right back down the field and puts it in.
Those cannons will flat blow you out of here.
Flat blow you away. So it's Williamson, bad knee and all, who goes in for the touchdown to make it 27-13.
So a kicker named Steve Young, not the Steve Young, who plays quarterback for Brigham Young.
Steve Young kicking the extra point. And with 4:17 remaining in the third period, Navy is back up by 15, 28-13 in favor of the midshipmen.
Pete Dawkins, of course, the Heisman Trophy winner in 1958. Al, I played against Pete in 1957 when he and Bob Anderson were a tandem. Do you remember that?
That was a pretty good team. Pretty good. You had the best day of your career, in fact, as you look at Williamson and his knee with the ice pack. Of course, he had that arthroscopic surgery. But for those of you who don't remember, probably 95% of the country, Lee Grosskopf had the day of his career. Utah against Army in 57. The kickoff goes into the end zone, And it's down there. His knee went down in the end zone, so even though Travis Jackson came out with it, it's still a touchback, and it comes out to the 20-yard line. Again, tomorrow, Texas against Texas A&M. We've been telling you about that game tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. Longhorns second in the country. USA against the world in amateur boxing. Great Britain and Canada providing the opposition. And then Wide World features the motocross motorcycle championship, Chinese acrobats, and a report on the U.S. Olympic hockey team as it rounds into shape preparatory to the Winter Olympics in Sarajevo, Yugoslavia in February. First down for the cadets of Army from the 20-yard line. Navy on top 28-13 late in the third period. Zerone hit it to 22. Lee, that game you had against Army in 57, I'd forgotten about it. You guys lost that game, didn't you?
It was a 39-33 ball game, but some people still think that that's maybe one of the best games in Utah's history. I certainly enjoyed playing in it. I was playing for the late, great Cactus Jack Curtis. And, of course, Earl Red Blake was the coach of Army. And they had, as I said, Anderson and Dawkins as a tandem of runners that year.
Second down and 8. And the pass was incomplete, intended for Zerone. It'll be third down and 8. That's when, that got you a lot of publicity, All-America honors. The first time Howard Cosell ever heard about you. And then, as Howard was to later say, after you went to the Giants, you became a shadow of your former self.
That once angular youth from the University of Utah, whose demise, etc., etc.
Third down from the 22-yard line. Bill Turner dropping back. Key play here. They try to keep the drive alive, and they get the first down. It's forward progress to the 31 for Rob Dickerson. So he makes the catch, and more importantly, knew where he was. He had to get across the 30 and to keep the drive going here.
Turner, who has been effective on the intermediate routes, particularly throwing to that man right there, number 80, Rob Dickerson, on a curl-in route. And Joe Papetti, the roverback, who has really roved all over the field today, is once again in the right place at the right time.
First down at the 31-yard line as Akins, who has really yet to get on track today, takes it out to the 32. Rutherford makes the stop. We highlighted Akins early on, and he's their leading ball carrier, but he really has not played a very meaningful role today. We've been able to spring him a couple of times. Second down and 9. Ball at the 32-yard line. 2.5 minutes to play in the third period. Navy on top. 28-13, Army trying to win its first Army-Navy game since 1977. With Dickerson in motion, Turner drops it over the middle, and close to a first down goes Elton Akins, and he should have it, and does, as he carries out to the 42-yard line. A first down as Eric Fudge makes the tackle. And let's check in with Ann Simon.
Al, you know, so much has happened in the past few weeks. First it was Beirut, then Grenada. I'm with about 80 of the Rangers who were on that tiny island. This is worlds away. It must be a great relief to be here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's great to be home, and we're really surprised by all the support nationally we got, and it was great. It's just great to come back and be appreciated by the country, and to really share our pride publicly in being soldiers, and that's what we are, and we're proud to be soldiers, and we're proud that the country is proud of us doing our job as soldiers.
All right, thank you very much. Good to have you back home, Al.
All right, Ann, a lot of those fellas honored during the halftime ceremonies here from the 42-yard line. Zerone takes it out to the 47 as he picks up 5. It'll be second and 5. Steve Brady making the stop. So Army down by 2 touchdowns, down by 15 points, in fact. A minute and a half remaining in the third period. And that's a sight you'll see at almost every Army-Navy game. The kidnapping, ostensibly, of a midshipman by the Corps of Cadets. Second down and 5 from the 48-yard line. And to the 50-yard line goes Elton Akins. It'll be 3rd and short, about 1.5 yards or 2 coming up on the next play.
Turner now 14 of 26 in the passing department for 160 yards. He's got a decision to make here now with 3rd and 2, because he can either go to the line, play it conservative, or he can do a little sprint out or play action pass. They like that balance between the running and the passing game.
3rd down and a short 2 from the 49-yard line. Giroux to the 47 and close to a first as Peters makes the tackle.
Zerone, of course, as we said early in the game, Al, is a good nuts and bolts fullback. He'll get you those tough yards. Good lead blocker.
And he just got a first down there.
Yep.
Picked up the 2 tough yards that were needed to keep this drive going, with the ball now at the 47-yard line and Zerone coming out. First and 10. Turner going, and it is picked off at the 34 by Eric Wallace. The man who ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown intercepts the pass and stymies a very important Army drive with just 3 seconds to go in the 3rd period.
Shooting for Jarvis Hollingsworth, the flanker who's running a deep curl-in route. Now watch number 86, the strong cornerback in the monster defense. Eric Wallace stepped right in there with absolutely perfect timing to make the interception, his second big play of the day.
So Navy now on the final play of the 3rd period lets McCallum have it. He takes it to the 35-yard line, and that's the end of the 3rd period. Third period has expired with a penalty on the play as you look at Wallace on the Navy bench, making his 5th interception of the season. He was the man who took that give from McCallum on the opening kickoff, took the handoff back at about the 11-yard line and went all the way. See about the penalty call here with no time remaining on the clock. In the 3rd quarter, options are being discussed with the linebacker for Army, John Roney. And here's the call from Vince Price, the referee.
We have a dead ball, motion foul on the white team, decline, the quarter is over. Live ball foul.
So we go to the 4th. Navy leads by 15. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local station. Michaels and Grosscup with you as we start the 4th quarter. I don't know that the folks in Philadelphia want to hear this. I think this is a great idea. You take this game out on the road once in a while and let some of the other folks around the country enjoy it. It's been quite a spectacle today.
Well, it's the most famous college rivalry played in the most famous stadium, so I think it's a perfect marriage.
And as we mentioned before, for the most part, they'll go back to Philadelphia. They signed a 5-year contract, and they'll go back to Veterans Stadium, but both service academies will weigh the after effects of this one, which appear to be positive, and from time to time, you may see it out on the road.
Take the show on the road.
2nd down and 9 as we start the 4th period with a penalty marker, and Williamson throws incomplete. So we'll see about the flag as the 3rd period ended on a penalty, and the 4th begins in like fashion. Motion call. He went the wrong way initially, signaled against Army, it's against Navy. And so, as we begin the 4th period, the options are being discussed with Army, and chances are they will decline the call. Take the play and the down, and it will be 3rd down and 9. McCallum, 2nd all-time, 2,612 yards. Eddie Myers, number 1, 2nd down and 9. Going deep is Williamson, and it's a bit underthrown. The intended receiver, Bill Seaback, was out in front of Matt Buckner. He beat Buckner, but it was not only a long pass, but a pass into the teeth of a pretty stiff wind. So it's 4th down, and Army will get the ball back. One advantage that Army does have here in the final quarter is they will be going with the wind. It's a short kick by Colby. That bounces and is down at the 35-yard line. So from there, it's Army's ball. A 30-yard punt, 14:38 to go in the game. The Mids lead by 15. All right, the numbers through 3 quarters. Lee Sickham.
All right, the bottom line, obviously, Army, look what they're doing in terms of time of possession. And look how they flip-flop in terms of passing yards and rushing yards.
First down from the 35-yard line as Turner rolls to his left and nearly has it intercepted by Andy Ponciego. Second down. Dickerson was the intended receiver. You know what's interesting about Bill Turner, Kelly Hayes was telling me, he was very heavily recruited by George Welsh when Welsh was the coach at Navy. And one of the reasons he decided to go to Army, of course, was that he has 3 brothers who graduated from West Point. But a good day. Kept his team in the game, and it looked like they were done early. 2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line. That's incomplete. Intended for Dickerson again. It's funny they didn't go to Dickerson at all in the first half, and he's become the main target here in the second half.
If you join us late, of course, you pointed this out earlier, Al, that it was a homecoming of sorts for Rob Healy, who started the game at quarterback. He who played at nearby Arcadia High School 2 years ago.
But it was not his day, and before Healy knew what happened, it was 21-0, and Young had to do something. And that something was to put Turner in the game. It turned out to be a judicious move. They go to the shotgun on 3rd down and 10. Turner with the wind at his back, steps up in the pocket and throws complete, but not enough for a first down. Dickerson making the catch, but upcoming will be 4th down and 3 from the 42.
Dickerson, who is not even listed as a starter, is having quite a day today. Watch him at the left tight end position, has an inside release, and it's his favorite route. It's a crossing pattern from left to right. And that ball is thrown about as well as it could be thrown.
Joe Sardiano to kick. Taken at the 24-yard line and getting some blocking and exploiting it out to the 43 is Eric Wallace, who runs it back 19. And with 13:45 to go in the game, it's Navy 28 and Army 13. Well, that's the view from the Goodyear Blimp Columbia on a gorgeous day. Mentioned before, Goodyear Blimp Columbia getting the aerial shots today. Look at how blue that sky is. Rained last night. Claude Akins looking on. It's a spectacle at the Rose Bowl. The Army-Navy game coming west for the first time, and Navy with the ball as McCallum, with a penalty marker thrown, takes it out to the 48-yard line on the first down play, and Gary Baston makes the tackle. A lot of rain last night, but it's been clear today. Very, very windy. Initial indication is a holding call against the Mids. And that'll cost them 10. Take it back to the 30-yard line.
Holding the white team. 10 yards. First down.
Interesting, in the last 12 Army-Navy games, Navy's had a man gain 100 yards or more in 11 of those games. And McCallum has done it today. Fumble! At the 28-yard line, who's got the football? No signal yet. Apparently, at least from the initial indication here,
I think Navy's got it.
They do, yeah. Otherwise Army would be jumping around. And they do.
Fumble is right there. Rick Williamson trying to pitch, loses the ball, and then jumps back on his own fumble.
second down and 24 now with the ball at the 28-yard line. Army showing blitz, and here they come, and they keep it on the ground. As Gentile makes a stop on Napoleon McCallum. These two schools have had a lot of fellas win the Heisman. It was Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside, and then Dawkins, Joe Bellino, and Roger Staubach in 60 and 63, winning it for Navy.
One of those guys was runner-up 2 years in a row before he won it. Which one? Trivia question for you.
That's a good question. Let's think about that for a second. 3rd and 22. It's a draw play. And it's McCallum who gets loose. Coming to the outside to the 40. And he gets to the 46. He is still shy of the first down, though, by about 6 yards. As Ayton makes the tackle. I'm going to guess Davis.
You're right. 2 years in a row before winning it in 1946. Now, Napoleon McCallum, who is a Heisman candidate himself for 1984, shows you some of the agility, the balance, the cutting ability, and the leg strength that he has there in the open field.
So on 4th down and 6, Navy has to kick. Colby's kick is a short one-hopper, taken at the 23 by Bob Silver, and he's back to the 25-yard line. Army ball, 11:30 to go. Navy 28, Army 13. Wide World tomorrow, featuring what you see on your screen right there, and it begins at 5 Eastern and 4 Central time here on ABC.
And the bottom line is, do you believe in miracles?
We'll find out if we believe in them again in a couple of months.
All right, I'll be watching.
When the Winter Olympics get underway. First down from the 26-yard line. Akins. 30. And out near the 35. So he gets 9, and he is stopped by Vince McBeth, freshman from Camden, Arkansas. Second down and 1. This is a critical drive right now for Army with 11 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the game, and they're down by 15 points.
28-13 they trail. This is a very crucial drive for them, and that was a good second effort run by Elton Akins, their great tailback.
Second down and 1 as they work out of the wishbone and give it to the fullback. That's Dave Pratt, a sophomore from El Paso, Texas, and he carries for a first down out to the 37-yard line.
Interesting how Jim Young works the wishbone into his attack as not a primary formation, but a secondary formation. I think that's the best way for the bone to be used. Of course, Emery Ballard, the modern architect of the wishbone, 1968, when he was an assistant coach to Darrell Royal at Texas.
And Emery now the head coach at Mississippi State. On first down, Turner throwing and completes it out to the 42-yard line. A short gain as Dickerson makes the catch. Interesting, if you're a college football trivia buff, most people credit Emery Ballard with inventing the wishbone when he was an assistant to Darrell Royal, but you and I, having talked to Ballard last year, know better, Cupper, that a man by the name of Ox Emerson was the guy.
From Alice, Texas, that's right.
He was the man who influenced Ballard's career, high school coach. Emery coached under him there. Second down and 6. And it's Akins getting to the outside, and he gets out to the 45-yard line. So it's interesting. You think about all these theoreticians and the Landrys and the Knowles in pro football and the Royals and even the Ballards in college football get a lot of the acclaim. And there's this old high school coach, Ox Emerson, who was probably the father of the wishbone.
Perhaps the father of the modern wishbone as we know it. But if you want to go back to the origins of all option football, it would be Don Perot at the University of Missouri when he invented the split tee option, which was a derivation of the give and go, a basketball play.
Named the field after him in Columbia. Third down and short, it is Akins carrying close to the 47. This is going to be a key measurement here, if indeed they do bring in the sticks. And it appears they will. They're going to bring him out. And a little doubt, though, if he is short, that Army would figure to go for it on 4th and inches near midfield with 9 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the game. And they are just short of the first down. That's short. Keep playing. Very big
it's an interesting shootout because, well, several reasons, but what we've talked about is the development of rookie quarterback Dan Marino.
Bengals against the Dolphins on Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern. Ball at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10 for Army. 9 minutes left in the game. Turner throwing, and it's nearly intercepted. It's batted up 2-3 times and incomplete. A little volleyball game going on down there with Jarvis Hollingsworth and the defensive backs, one of whom Eric Wallace and the other Vince McBeth.
This is an amazing finish. Watch this volleyball action right now. 1, 2, 3, kick. And almost a catch. I thought we were going to see immaculate reception Roman numeral 2 there for a moment.
Well, we saw it Roman numeral 2 last week with White Shoes Johnson.
Oh, that's right.
That would have been 3.
Yeah.
2nd down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Akins turning the corner into Navy territory. Tripped up at the 45-yard line. He's stopped there by Rick Pagel, the defensive end. And the attendance today at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena is 81,347. So a successful venture as they bring the game out west and put 81,000 into the famed Rose Bowl in Pasadena.
The granddaddy of them all.
Mike White's team will be here, Illinois against UCLA, New Year's Day. 3rd down and 3 at the 46-yard line. Turner faking the give to Akins, and then it's knocked down. Nearly intercepted by Eric Fudge. And again, Army is now faced with a critical 4th down play. 8 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the game. 4th and 3.
Interesting about this Rose Bowl here in 1947, UCLA wanted to face Army. I don't know if you remember that. Of course, they had a contract with the Big Ten. Illinois came out, and they were very disappointed. Illinois clobbered them. That's when Buddy Young was playing for Illinois. Now Illinois is back here again.
For the first time since 64.
And they're playing UCLA.
On 4th and 3, Army tries to keep the drive going and can't. It is incomplete, intended for Dickerson over the middle. And so Navy now will try to use up as much of the clock as they possibly can. With 7 minutes and 59 seconds remaining in the game. Navy has the ball, and the Mids lead by 15 in Pasadena.
Tomorrow on NCAA football, undefeated number 2 ranked Texas, who are Cotton Bowl bound, trying to extend their winning streak, tackling intrastate arch rival Texas A&M. Texas A&M tomorrow.
Well, Lee, what do you think? The people in Lincoln think that their team is by far number 1, and the pollsters agree. And of course, Freddie Akers and company, they think they're number 1. What do you think?
Based on what we saw at the game, what we saw in Nebraska, it would be hard to imagine anyone beating Nebraska this year. However, defensively, Texas has the best team that they have had in years. So it would be a marvelous matchup, naturally, but we're not going to see it.
Here it's Navy's ball at the 46-yard line, 1st and 10. And Napoleon McCallum takes it out to the 47-yard line. Another thing to keep in mind now as Navy tries to chew up the clock is Army has already spent 2 timeouts in this half. They have only 1 remaining. And we're about halfway through the 4th period. Navy on top 28-13. Again, if you joined us late, by the time the game was 3 minutes and 57 seconds old, Navy was leading 21-0. So they did it early. Army trying to play catch-up all day. 2nd down, and Williamson on a keeper inside the 40 and goes out of bounds at the 35. And do you think that was a set play, Lee, or did he just improvise? Busted play?
I think it's a busted play because it's something he wouldn't run with his knee in a brace. I think if we had seen that with the brace off, you might wonder if it was just the old true bootleg.
There's the brace. We talked about the fact he was injured in the South Carolina game 2 weeks ago. In fact, just 13 days ago, on the 12th of November, underwent arthroscopic surgery. Did not practice until last Sunday. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. It's McCallum on a sweep to the right. And he gets down to the 28-yard line. Napoleon McCallum, over 100 yards for the 8th time this season. Gary Baston makes the tackle. So another good day for McCallum, who's been the workhorse today. He's carried the ball for a total of 162 yards, which is 100 more than Army collectively, as you can see.
He indicated that through track and weight training, he was able to increase his leg strength. And so he really has jackhammer legs.
2nd down and 3. McCallum again. He's got a first down. And he gets to the 20-yard line.
But he has a very graceful style of running. Almost effortless as he moves along there. Makes you think sometimes of people like Paul Warfield. Remember how he used to glide?
One of the best.
But he told me yesterday that he particularly admired Marcus Allen, Charles White, when they were tailbacks at USC.
1st and 10, ball at the 20-yard line. It's McCallum again. And he gains 3, so McCallum's worksheet on the day, 26 carries and 174 yards.
That's some worksheet.
Pretty good tailback.
Well, as I said at the top of the show, I think that based on his numbers and his all-around athletic ability, that he is going to be one of the leading candidates for the Heisman Trophy in 1984.
He just picked up an honor today. He was named to the Walter Camp All-America team at a running back spot, along with the probable Heisman Trophy winner, Mike Rozier. 2nd down and 7 at the 17-yard line, and it's McCallum again. And he gets inside the 15 to the 13. You know, this is a very predictable drive. They've been giving the ball to McCallum. Army knows it. And yet there's really been nothing Army can do about it. And it's been a perfect Navy drive because they're chewing up yardage and absolutely eating up the clock, which is now down to 5:35 to go.
Napoleon right, Napoleon left, Napoleon up the middle. When will he meet his Waterloo?
Maybe not on this drive. 3rd and 3. Number 13, guess who? And he's close to a first down as he gets just inside the 10-yard line. Now, McCallum had to make an interesting choice, because once you go into your junior year at the academy, you are then committing yourself to 5 years of military service upon graduation. So, in effect, you're saying goodbye to a professional career, at least for McCallum now up until 1989. But he thought about it. Mentioned that there was some thought given at one point to perhaps transferring, trying pro football, but he felt that this was the way to go. He's shy of a first by inches. It's 4th down and inches, and McCallum picks up the first down as he gets to the 8-yard line.
And besides that, Roger Staubach has proven that it can be done. You can have a military career and a professional career.
Doesn't happen a whole lot, but as you mentioned, Staubach had a tremendous career. Among other things, McCallum conceivably could wind up as an astronaut someday. That's something that has crossed his mind.
That's why Notre Dame didn't recruit him, or why they didn't sign him. He told them he wanted to be an astronaut.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line. And it's McCallum again. That's his 5th consecutive carry and no gain. But Navy is doing exactly what they set out to do on this drive, and they have used a good portion of the clock. And when the next play gets off, we'll have about 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the game.
Textbook drive, and Napoleon is giving a tailback clinic on this particular march. You mentioned Rozier a moment ago. I think he's probably a lock for the Heisman Trophy, but I think Steve Young of BYU has got to get a lot of votes, because what he did this year was incredible.
2nd down and goal from the 8-yard line. And it's Williamson on the bootleg, and Williamson comes close to getting in and is out of bounds at about the 1.
Williamson is a gutsy quarterback. He's run that ball about 4 or 5 times today and been effective doing it, despite having his right knee in that aforementioned Lenox Hill knee brace.
Put him down at the 4-yard line. Williamson moving down the sideline, but initially stepped out at the 4-yard line. So it's 3rd down and goal. And that's the only way Army's been able to stop the clock on this drive, as he went out of bounds. 3rd down and goal. Will they give it to McCallum? Well, they may not have the chance. And Williamson gets back to the 2-yard line, so it'll be 4th down with 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Another look at the snap as Gary Tranquil decides what play he'll send in.
Right there, he loses it. He never actually got the handle on the football, and he makes a wise decision there to pick it up and go straight ahead and try to recapture as many yards as possible.
So 4th down coming up, a 15-point lead. And with the clock running, I would think Navy's going to attempt a field goal, and that will cement it. What they're also doing here is letting the clock run down as far as it can, just prior to a penalty, and now they stop it with a timeout. 2:45 remaining in the game. So the Naval Academy, the mids coming out, striking early and dramatically. And Jim Young's team, before he knew it, was down by a score of 21-0. Tranquil, in his 2nd season as the head coach of the Naval Academy, is on his way to victory number 2. And of course, this is the first time that Young and Army has faced the Naval Academy,
because it's his first year as head coach
at West Point. And Navy will wind up with a mark of 3 wins, 8 losses, and Army will finish with a mark of 2-9.
So what started out to be a blowout has actually been a respectable game.
At one point in the 3rd period, it looked like Army had all of the momentum. Made a game out of it anyway. They're going to go for it on 4th and goal. And on a bootleg, it's Williamson who gets in for the touchdown. So Rick Williamson, knee brace and all, and a man who has spent a good part of the day limping back to the huddle. And they put the reload again. Scores on a 2-yard touchdown run.
Earlier in the week, we thought we would see Sean Cannon. Rick Williamson coming on strong here. You see the fake. Into the line he goes, and around the end, and makes a great surge toward the end zone.
2:39 remaining in the game as Navy has cemented it. And Steve Young to attempt the extra point. Perfect. 2:39 to go at the Rose Bowl. Navy now on top by 22.
We're going to do a game.
Al Michaels and Lee Grosscup and Ann Simon at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, 35-13 Navy, with Army sending Travis Jackson and Kevin McKelvey back to receive. Steve Young ready to come forward, but the wind has blown the ball off the tee. Well, we picked our Chevy players, and there they are. Bill Turner, the Army quarterback, who came off the bench to make it respectable, and Napoleon McCallum had quite a day.
Backup quarterback, 16 of 34 for 172 yards. Knapp, 30 carries, 182 yards.
Each man's name, $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund, courtesy of Chevrolet, as Jackson comes back to the 20-yard line. And let's get a word from Ann Simon. Ann?
Al, there are 3 men here at the game today who have plenty to be thankful for on this Thanksgiving weekend. All 3 were in Beirut during the bombings. All 3 were injured, and all 3 received a Purple Heart. With me is...
I'm Chief Hospital Corpsman John Vaughn from Gadsden, Alabama.
And you've got to be very happy to be back on American soil, especially in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, I've got so much to be thankful for. I'd like to thank the American people for such a welcome home. I'm grateful for so many things. Chocolate ice cream, flushing toilets, and... oh, Lord, just that the Navy has beaten the Army so bad today, and it's such a game, isn't it?
It really is. Thank you very much. Good to have you back home safe.
Oh, it is. I'd like to say hello to my kids, Johnny, Candy, Jonathan, and Jonna.
Back to you, Al.
All right, Ann. It is great to have them back. Beirut last month, and the Rose Bowl in Pasadena today. As Bill Turner looks on from the side, one of our Chevy MVPs. Navy, by the way, was offside on that last kick, and so they will do it again from the 35-yard line.
He threw 1 interception today, but in 4 games last season that he played, he had no interceptions. So I think he's a young man with a lot of potential at that quarterback position.
Young's kick is a bouncer, knocked down, scrambled for, and picked up by Travis Jackson. And he comes back out to the 23-yard line. So Army will try to mount a drive from there with 2:28 to go. Napoleon McCallum. You are a hoss, Napoleon.
He could become the most prolific all-purpose player in NCAA history next year. Right now, only Whizzer White, Marcus Allen, Ollie Matson, and Art Lupino rate ahead of him. Now that's good company when you're 5th and you still have a full season left to play.
First down from the 23-yard line. And it's Jerome who takes it to the 25. Second down.
Think about those names. Whizzer White, Marcus Allen, Ollie Matson, Art Lupino. Brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it? You kind of have flashes of all of those guys.
Ollie spent part of his pro career, remember, right here with the Rams.
Yep.
Before that, the then Chicago Cardinals. That's intercepted at the 36-yard line by Andy Ponciego. And that's quite a way for Ponciego to close out his career in the waning moments of his senior season. He comes up with an interception. 1:53 to go with Navy on the verge of winning it, leading by 22. Well, you're looking at Turner. At one point today, it really looked like he was going to, he was leading them back, and they got to the point where it was 21-13. But then Navy mounted that drive. They answered Army's third quarter drive with one of their own, and then Navy in control. First down at the 30-yard line. And through the middle, carrying for the first time, is Ron McDonald, who goes in for a touchdown. Ron McDonald, a senior from Detroit, who had not been in the game, takes the handoff from Sean Cannon, who had not been in the game, and goes 30 yards for a touchdown.
Let's watch these newcomers. There's Sean Cannon, number 14. It's the definitive I formation play. Backup tailback Ron McDonald starts off the right side. Little juke step, blows it to the outside, and cruises into the end zone. And finally, what we thought was going to be a rout has turned out to be a rout after all. It's now 41-13. So Navy scores at the top of the show and at the end of the show.
They ain't done yet either. 142. Young, extra point. Good. Wonder if they have any ammunition left. The cannon's been busy. Navy 42. Army 13. Well, there he is, Ron McDonald. His family can say, well, what'd you do today? Well, I carried the ball one time, 30 yards.
One touchdown. 1 for 1 for 1.
Perfect day. Perfect day. Navy 42 and Army 13 with Travis Jackson and Kevin McKelvey back to receive, and Steve Young kicking off. That's a very good kick into a stiff wind. Fielded by Jackson at the 2. And he gets dropped at the 20-yard line. So 1 minute, 36 seconds remaining in the game. And Army has it at the 20-yard line. And symbolic there.
12th man.
Right. 12th man theme will be expounded upon tomorrow, of course. Texas A&M.
Absolutely.
Voted for it against Texas in a game you'll see on ABC as Akins carries. Laughlin is now the quarterback. Rich Laughlin, number 10. And it'll be second down. And I want to thank our statistician, George Hill, our spotter, Kelly J. Hayes, who had a short drive over from Malibu today for their great work. Brian Carter up in the booth leading the parade. Thank you, gentlemen. Time out as we have an injured Army player. That, I believe, is Zerone. It is, the running back. Art Zerone, a senior from Chuck Tanner's hometown of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And there it is again tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Texas against Texas A&M.
Zerone, who wears number 32, has 32 yards today and 11 carries. He's gotten the tough yards for Army. That looks like he's dangling either a right knee or right ankle there. Usually when they carry you off like that means you've injured the knee. Hopefully it won't be serious. 2nd down and 8 to go.
With the ball at the 22-yard line. Laughlin. Dropped at the 32-yard line. He picks up the 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10. And the executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Kurt Gowdy Jr., the producer of today's game, which was directed by Jim Jeanette. Mike Blazo has been our technical director. Robbie Cowan, our associate director. Bob Piatek, our unit manager. Technical manager Jerry Bobbian. Jay Cutlow, the assistant to the producer. On 1st down from the 32-yard line, it is incomplete. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. So the beat going on as the Navy and Army clash again. Navy taking command in this series. They lead the overall series and have not lost since 1977. Travis Jackson takes the ball out to the 40-yard line as the seconds tick down. It'll be a very pleasant trip home for the entire brigade. And again, if you joined us late, they're all here. The brigade of midshipmen, the Corps of Cadets, airlifted out. And not a dime of taxpayers' expense involved. Privately financed. And they've had a great time out here, the men and women of the 2 service academies. But the better time has been had, of course, by the people from Navy. It's been their day, 42-13. This set the tone of the day right here. This was the opening kickoff, which was fielded by Napoleon McCallum and then handed to Eric Wallace, who went all the way for the score.
It looked a moment like it was a broken play, but actually it was planned. Eric Wallace getting the handoff from Napoleon McCallum. It winds up to be a 95-yard play. It did indeed set the tone of the day, and Navy was always in charge.
Longest kickoff return in Navy history. Travis Jackson carrying on this 4th down play, and he does not pick up the first, so it'll be Navy's ball, but it's all academic right now. We've got time for 1 play left in the game. And Gary Tranquil will head back along with his charges to the locker room to begin a celebration of sorts. 11 seconds remaining in the game. First down from the 41-yard line. Sean Cannon, who was expected to start at quarterback today if Williamson was unable to make it, just falls down, and that will do it. The Army-Navy game comes to Pasadena, where it was an artistic success. 81,000 looked on. Good show. Good spectacle here on a beautiful day. And Navy wins it by a score of 42-13. And a look there at Napoleon McCallum, outstanding. Had a great day, helping to lead Navy to a 29-point win. Al Michaels, Lee Groscup, and Ann Simon sing so long from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The blimp provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements made through it, a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the official airline of the 1984 LA Olympic Games and proud sponsor of the United States